Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Happy 500!
There we go. There it is.
Who thought we'd make it to 500 shows? Raise your hand.
I did.
Hell yeah, I
darn
did
right
too.
I did.
I did too.
This little YouTube show.
All the little naysayers out there that said they'll be around a couple of months.
Yeah,
Right.
we did our thing,
That's
man. I
it.
was just asking you. I said,
still
man,
here.
I say, hey, did you know? At what point in time did you think this was gonna fall through? You was like, I was out of here.
I wasn't, because I didn't know the space, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, right.
I had no expectations. Other than that, I knew it would be hard because I've launched 3 shows before.
Right.
And launches are very, very, very difficult. And you never know. You just don't know what's going to stick and what isn't going to stick. I knew there was a lane that was not presently vacated. You know, no one was in it. Mm-hmm. And we've slid in, and we've slid in nicely, and we've already seen some competition start to come in and challenge our space. But good luck to them.
I mean, think about it. Since we've been on, first of all, there's been other, as you said, other people trying to compete.
Sure.
Not to mention, the both established radio stations have done way more video content since we've been on. Of
course they have.
That has changed for both the radio stations in town.
Well, they know that there's a space there.
Yeah, that's right.
And you always want to be the first one in.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the second one in. And I think that, and you could just, the proof is in the pudding. What are we, over 20 million views?
That's crazy.
And our average
That's
view time is what, McNuggets? Do we even know that?
Yeah, it's in the 30-minute range, which is
I mean, so think about that.
That's right.
20
So that's
million
over
views.
10 million hours of viewed content.
That's right. And we're about 400 subscribers away from 40,000.
Wow.
As many YouTube channels as there are not that many that have more than 40,000 subscribers.
No, at what
it's
point,
probably top
Mike,
3%.
when we were in the upper 1% of all YouTube shows in terms of views and subscribers, is that still the case?
Yeah, we have grown exponentially. It's a testament to what we've done. It's a testament to you guys out there watching. We cannot say thank you, and we appreciate your guys' constant support enough. We do love you guys. We like to bust your chops sometimes, but what we do and what we put on every day would not be possible without your guys' continued support. So I just want to say thank you from everyone on camera, behind the camera, whether you're here in Cleveland, whether you're back in Atlanta like EP Steve. For everyone who watches every day, we truly appreciate you guys making UCSS part of your daily routine.
It's so successful. Steve is putting a brand new wing on his palatial estates out in Atlanta, and he's trying to bring back Freaknik. He's trying to bring that back.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm unaware of that. Good luck with that, Steve.
He's going to go Google that and be like, what the haberdashery?
I don't think that's coming back, by the way.
Right.
I don't think that's coming back.
The climate, I don't know how they let us get it off to start with.
Yeah, but once it got off, it was quickly canceled.
Yes, yeah.
All right, we start every day with our main sponsor is FanDuel, and we start every day with one of your winning tickets. And Mike, you're really excited about today's winning ticket. He came running in here before the show started to explain it to us.
Yeah, this is our biggest win by far.
Wow.
Then we're going to bring in Joe Thomas, so we got to keep our reaction to this ticket at a minimum, even though it deserves a maximum reaction. So,
Mike has now won those 5 times.
Yes.
Then you're going to get. But we'll bring in Joe Thomas in 1 sec. After a quick reminder that FanDuel is the #1 sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every single game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets. Guaranteed, that's $150, win or lose. You can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And let's give some love to Alante here, guys. He turned $5 into $6,600 with a 2-leg parlay, first pitch result single in 2 separate games. He had Mauricio Dubon hitting a single off Jonathan Leclerc in the 4th inning. He also had Ronald Acuna getting a single off Trevor Rogers in the 8th inning on the first pitch. They both hit, and Steve dropped the super so they could see the winnings.
Yeah.
But this was a $5 bet into a $6,600 payout.
Does it have to be the specific player he designates?
Yes. First pitch. First
Oh,
result,
my
first
God,
player.
what are
And it's Jose Leclerc, by the way, not John.
Jose Leclerc.
I guess,
excuse me.
Bull, what you're doing in that situation is you're studying guys that like to swing at the first
Swing
pitch.
the first pitch, yeah. But Dubon in particular, no, we won't go on for too long. Dubon in particular is just a dude. I mean, Acuna is an excellent hitter, so I can go. But, like, Dubon is just a random dude.
But, if you drop $5 on that every day,
Oh, yeah, why not?
you're going to hit that.
He's hit it twice in the first 4 weeks of the season.
So he's found a loophole.
Yeah.
Investigation is coming soon.
Yeah, let's do it.
No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to drop that available bet.
I mean, my gosh, that's a huge
That's
win.
almost like stealing. If you make that $5 bet every day,
Yeah.
you're going to come up okay at some point.
He's now covered for the whole year. Even if he loses every
Right.
$5 bet the rest of the year, he's covered.
So we mentioned FanDuel being America's #1 sportsbook. Let's go international and welcome in our #1 international football coach right now, and that is Joe Thomas, our guy. What's up, Joe? How's the streets of Germany and Munich and the Ravens treating you overseas?
They're treating
German?
me well. They're treating sprechen kein Deutsch right now. It's not so good. Nicht so good. But we have been doing some football, and we're actually coming up. We're like 4 weeks away from our first game, which is getting exciting. But all of a sudden, the competitive juices are starting to flow, and I'm starting to get nervous again the way I used to when the Browns games would be coming right around the corner during training camp.
Joe, I remember asking you on one of your earlier visits on UCSS, because I thought, we talked about it, I think, man, you'd make an excellent coach. You'd make an excellent general manager. And I said, is that in your future? And your answer was, no, not right now. I want to wait until my kids get a little older. Did the bug just bite you again? You couldn't stay away? What happened?
Well, when we're over in Europe, our guys are still working during the day or going to school. So it's a lot less of a commitment than it would be if I were in college in America or coaching in the NFL. So I think the commitment's still a lot less. And that's why it felt like it was the right thing to do to come over here, get an opportunity to travel a little bit, give my kids a chance to live abroad, and still be able to just scratch that itch just a little bit with the coaching and being able to coach some pros that have a lot of talent, but they just don't have a lot of experience. And so I think for me as a coach, to be able to take a guy that has a lot of talent but hasn't had a lot of coaching, you see that progress really quickly. And so the payoff has been already really big for me. So it's been a great experience, but I'm not quite ready to commit, like I mentioned, until my kids are out of high school to that full-time job, which is college or NFL coaching.
Who loves beer more, Germany or Wisconsin?
Oh, Germany.
I thought nobody could compare with Wisconsin, but in Germany, it is not a culture. It is their religion over here, how they drink beer. But it's very well organized, and so I give them credit for that. Like they know very well when they're going to drink beer, and then they drink a lot of it, and then they don't for a long time. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a festival. Time to drink beer again. It's Oktoberfest. It's Frühlingsfest. It's Stark Beer Fest. So as you would expect with the Germans, it's all very organized, but they definitely drink more beer than they do in Wisconsin, which is hard to even imagine that I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Joe, have you gotten a sense yet as to how popular football, American football, is in Germany? And do you get recognized like you would here?
Occasionally I'll get recognized by a Browns fan, but I think the NFL fandom is incredible over here. 2 years ago, I came here with the NFL Network to cover the first German NFL game between the Bucs and the Seahawks, and they had 1 million ticket requests in the first day for an 80,000 seat stadium. So the fandom is there. They just don't have the ability a lot of times to watch a lot of the games because they happen in the middle of the night, and they don't have the chance to really like dive in the way we do 24/7 with the news cycle. So I think as the game continues to grow, they're going to get more access to that. And guys like McNuggets are going to be recognized on the streets of Germany just about anywhere.
God help us.
Joe, I was a big fan of NFL Europe. I love the uniforms. I loved when I was younger watching it. Do you believe there will ever be professional teams that would be in London or Germany or somewhere? And how could they incorporate that into the game? Is that at all feasible?
I think it's going to happen. I don't know when, because there are a lot of hurdles to get over. Like you mentioned, the feasibility is a real challenge, and not just the travel. I think the travel is not as big as of an issue as people think, because, I mean, these guys are flying on private chartered jets anyway. And the flight from London to New York, what is it, 4 or 5 hours? When we would fly to Seattle, it was like the same distance. Yeah. So I don't think that's the issue. Honestly, I think the biggest issue is just guys living in the UK or living in Germany or some of these other countries in Europe and dealing with the passports, dealing with trading players, bringing guys in for workouts and stuff like that. The laws over here are a little bit different. Like, I've been here for 3 months, 4 months now, and I still don't have my residency card that's official that allows me to get health insurance, just because it just takes so much more time. And so I think the NFL would have to be able to tackle how they can work internationally, because you're going to wind up in situations where guys are trying to get traded, or you're going to have guys that are trying to be signed and they don't have a passport, or they can't get them into the country for some reason, or they can't get the clearance to have the work visa. So I think that is probably an even bigger issue than just the travel. But feasibility wise, I think if they added a full division that was in Europe, and then they could combine the games where you don't have to travel to the United States except for every maybe like 3 weeks. And then when you do, you'd stay for a couple of weeks. I think that could definitely work. And I definitely think they're going to figure it out at some point. I just don't know when.
Joe, for those that don't know, explain the setup of this league. How many teams are there? Where are the players from? How many games will there be in a season? And are these teams in any way affiliated with any of the NFL teams?
Well, I'm trying to figure out some of those things myself, to be totally honest. I'm just looking at my practice script for tonight and just kind of diving into that, just like I did when I was a lineman with the Browns. I'm just kind of focused on my own little thing. But I think there's like 17 teams. There's 2 divisions. There's kind of a North division that's a lot of Germany and then some of the countries around Germany to the north. And then we're in the South division with the Munich Ravens. So we actually play a pretty awesome schedule. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was part of the reason I came over here. We go to Barcelona. We go to Milan. We go to Prague. We go to Austria. And then we only have 1 game in Nuremberg in Germany. And so the travel is pretty awesome. Like when we go to Barcelona, we're going for 2 days. We're going the day before, so we'll stay one night, and then we're actually spending the night after. So if you see me sunburned on the beaches of Barcelona on Monday morning after a game, you'll know exactly why. But it's pretty cool. So you just play basically everybody twice in your division, and then they pick the playoffs from there. I think there's maybe 8 teams that make the playoffs, and then you work to a championship game, which is like September 21st or somewhere around there. It's right around the start of Oktoberfest. That's how I know the date, because, in my mind, I'm like, hey, we win the championship, then we go to Oktoberfest and celebrate. I mean, that's a story made in Netflix heaven right there.
How does the talent of your team compare to maybe what your expectations were heading in there?
They're actually a lot more talented than I expected. I kind of expected kind of like a Division III quality football, and I think maybe when you watch the game, that's what you see, just because these guys don't have the experience, they don't have the coaching, they don't have the setup and the structure that we have in the States. Like, we start playing high school football, middle school football, and it's all through our school. So you just stick around. It's easy. Your pads are there up, and you get pretty good coaching all the way through. And then once you get to college, then it becomes your full-time job. For these guys, to your other question, my guys are working right now. It's 5:15 at night, and they're all getting off of work and getting ready to drive here because my most handsomely paid lineman makes 500 euros a month, which is like below minimum wage. Right. So they don't have really the ability, because the money's not there yet, to make this a full-time job, to be able to have that commitment like we do in the States to get the development that they need. But with all that being said, the line play, as far as the potential for these guys, I mean, they look like linemen that you'd see in the NFL. They move the same way. It's just, with football, it's a game of a million things that you're putting together to go out and play a game with. And it takes a long time to learn those skills, and they just haven't had that time. And so I think that's one of the cool things for me. I mean, selfishly, I love coaching a guy and seeing him improve a ton, because the potential is here, especially along the lines, because they got big, strong, tough people in Germany. And the skill play is not the best. So for our team, you're allowed 4 Americans for every team. So our American imports are quarterback, 2 defensive backs, and receiver. And that's kind of the same across the board, because you can't get those dudes in Europe.
Joe, I'm wondering, do you have a funny story where you were trying to teach a guy something that for us is just absolutely remedial, but it was completely a new and foreign concept to him. Any funny stories like that as you're basically teaching these guys how to play a sport?
Yeah, it's funny because actually my right tackle, his name's Roman Vorheit, and he played at in the CFL for a little while, and then he played at a smaller school in Baltimore. And so he also speaks great English, and so he's like my translator a lot of times because it's funny, you're talking about the minutia of offensive line plays. You're talking about, I need your ankle to bend at 30 degrees here, and you want to feel through the inside of the plantar part of your foot. And, they speak English, but sometimes you get this glossy look in their eyes. And I can start to read my guys when I know, like, hey, what I just told them makes no sense. So I always usually turn to Roman and I tell him, hey, Roman, tell him in Deutsch. He has no idea what I'm talking about. So thankfully I've got like a little built-in translator there, especially when we go out to Frühschoppen, which is the traditional Sunday. This is why Germans drink more beer, because Sunday morning they do Frühschoppen, which means it's like breakfast drinking. So Sunday morning you eat Weisswurst with sweet mustard and you drink Hefeweizen beer before noon, and then as soon as it's noon, you start drinking Helles, and it's called Frühschoppen, and it's like the big thing to do over here. And so they always help translate when I get there, because I'm very excited to drink my beer on Sunday morning because it's not something I usually get to do. And sometimes there's a language barrier with the ordering. And when I say, I would like all of the things on the menu. No, I don't want this and that. I want everything.
That's so crazy. They'd be drinking beer like that. I would be 5,000 pounds, bro. All the carbs. That's drinking like a loaf of bread. Like, it's crazy. The draft is coming up, right? And I always hear this when people say, hey, go get somebody and draft up front in the trenches, Joe. You got to draft up front. And I'll be looking around like, you do know there could be bust at defense and offensive tackle, right? You do know that these guys can bust too. And when they bust, sometimes on the offensive line, it's like ridiculous. They're like not good at all. Can you tell when a guy is getting drafted or they draft offensive lineman and you watch his film and you're like, oh, that guy's not going to be good? Do you kind of know, like based on what you saw, like, yeah, that's not going to work in the league?
Yeah, I should have been a GM if I could tell that from watching the film. But I think it's like sometimes I watch a guy and I'm like, I just don't know if his game relates to the NFL because I just don't know if he can bend, or maybe the things that he's doing to win at the college level is he's just winning with strength, or he's just overpowering them, where that's not going to work because everybody's big and strong in the NFL. So sometimes I feel like I can see that, even more than offensive line, though. I feel like I can see it with pass rushers. Watching guys who maybe have a lot of sacks or who are super fast and get drafted pretty high at pass rusher, but then I watch them and I'm like, they're very tight in the hips. They can't turn their core. They can't twist to be able to get into new moves. And I just don't see any pass rush moves that can win, because you can't just run around guys in the NFL anymore. Like, yeah, you could run around guys and run over them in college, but what are you going to do to win at the NFL level? And so I'm skeptical sometimes, and I feel like my hit rate, at least in my head, as a pass rusher, whether they're going to be a flop or not, is a little bit higher than the offensive line, because the offensive line is tough. I mean, I like drafting a bunch of guys in the middle rounds at the offensive line and developing them, because it is a position that takes a long time to develop. And usually, especially if you have a great offensive line coach, unfortunately, we had a couple great offensive line coaches that aren't here anymore, that were here with Callahan. And I hope Andy Dickerson's a great offensive line coach. I was here with him in Cleveland, and he's done well elsewhere, and remains to be seen how he's going to do in Cleveland. But if you have a good offensive line coach and they have a chance to spend 3-4 years with a guy that's got some potential as a mid-round draft choice, we've seen a lot of guys that they can be developed into good starting offensive linemen, because it's about putting together a million different techniques and skill sets to become an offensive lineman. But it does take that time. So I think you're going to get more bang for your buck early if you draft a receiver or a skill player. And that's why I like kind of taking those guys a little bit higher sometimes. And take your offensive lineman, your defensive lineman, especially your interior guys in the middle rounds.
Speaking of a crowded room, you got Jack Conklin, DeJuan Jones, and Jedrick Wills. That's 3 for 2 positions. How do you go about figuring that out, Joe, like this year? I mean, this is tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I think, unfortunately, the nature of the game is there's a lot of injuries, and so sometimes those things sort themselves out. But you got a talented guy like DeWand, who, he was a great player at Ohio State. He, was high on everybody's board when they drafted him, but I don't think anybody thought they were going to get the player that they got. So, honestly, I'd put him in there as the starter until Jack can prove that he's back and he's healthy and that he can replace him. And then if you're having that type of a luxury, then you figure out, all right, who's playing our best football, and do we want to move one of those guys potentially somewhere else, or maybe do we want to rotate? And I think if you have that luxury, it's a great luxury, because there's a lot of teams in the NFL that don't have a single offensive tackle, and we have 3, so we should feel pretty lucky about that.
Joe, you referenced Bill Callahan being gone, going with his son. Obviously, it seems from our perspective to be a pretty big loss, no matter who you replace him with. The guy's probably the best offensive line coach in the league. How devastating is that for the Browns? Because he's done a great job of developing linemen.
That's really tough. Like I mentioned, it's something that I think you notice over time, right? Like we noticed guys that maybe weren't on our radar turning into be good starters. And that's what you get when you have a good offensive line coach, because they're working with them every day. They got them for 6-8 hours a day in the classroom, on the field, and they get just a little bit better every single day. And pretty soon you've got a really good line. And even if somebody goes down, those backups, they're ready to step up. And so I think you won't notice it in the first year. And hopefully we never notice it, because hopefully Andrew Dickerson does a great job and picks up right where Bill left off. But over time is really when you notice how good an offensive line coach was, when you lose guys and they're able to step up. The backups are playing just as well as the starters, and you have a line that's decimated, but they're still playing really good football.
Joe, I know you have to go to get ready for practice, but I wanted to ask you before we left, how does it feel to be a Raven?
It feels uncomfortable. I feel like I have to take a shower every day after I take my Ravens gear off.
Flacco became a Brown. Joe Thomas became a Raven.
Yeah, didn't have that on my
crazy
bingo
world.
card.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe,
Strange times we're
always a
living.
friend
Thanks
of the
for having
show.
me on, guys.
Thanks for being a big part of
Appreciate
it.
you.
We appreciate it, and good luck to your team. We'll be following them.
Yeah. And congratulations to you guys. Hell of an accomplishment. What you guys are doing right now is incredible. You guys have made your show one of the most popular shows around. I know it's must-see TV all throughout the Midwest and for all Browns fans. So congratulations. Keep kicking ass.
Thanks, Joe.
We
And
appreciate
I
it.
can say this with confidence, and Joe was on the 3rd show we ever had. You're going to see some other clips from Joe Thomas's appearances throughout today's show as we look back at some of our best moments. But between Joe being in Munich and my sister living in Munich, we have 2 Munich daily viewers of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
that.
We are now
Ratings are off the
officially
charts there.
international in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
All right. Joe, thanks, man.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Hall of Fame
Cheers.
football
Talk with
player,
Joe.
Hall of Fame guy. Just and
Yeah.
I guess it's okay for us to adopt the Ravens as our team in that league.
Yes.
I mean, just
we
because
don't hate
of Joe.
those Ravens.
We don't hate those Ravens.
No.
They've done nothing to us.
No, they're innocent Ravens.
And I've noticed that whenever a new league crops up in whatever the sport is, I don't care if it's indoor football, whatever,
Yeah.
arena football, it's fun to randomly pick a team.
I know.
Because usually there's not a Cleveland team.
Right.
So you could just sort of have fun with it. I always pick on uniforms.
Yeah.
I look at the uniforms and say, these uniforms are unbelievable. I would
I
wear
love
that jersey.
Sweet.
And it gives you a rooting interest
Sure.
to sort of pay attention to the league. So why don't we, as a show,
Yes.
adopt the Ravens, and we'll give their
We got to
results
follow them every week. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's
I
stats
remember
one.
when I was a kid, you probably had this experience, although you're a little older than me, when the USFL started.
Absolutely.
My dad was like, I think we'll root for the Chicago Blitz because he liked their uniforms.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Or I think it was the Blitz.
I
can't
went
remember.
for the New Jersey Generals because Brian Sipe signed with the Generals,
Oh, I
and I
didn't
think they also didn't
yeah.
they have Herschel Walker too?
They did.
And so I'm like,
Yeah.
well, these are guys that I know, and they're
Yeah.
easy to root for.
Yeah.
So I followed the Generals, but it's fun to do that. And
Yeah.
so we'll adopt the Ravens.
love it.
I used to watch the Barcelona Dragons.
Yeah.
Ryan Fire back in the day.
There you go.
Yeah.
By
It
the way,
also gives us a reason to drink a lot.
That's true.
Yes.
You root for this team.
By the way,
So-
speaking of offensive linemen, there was a video a few weeks ago where Joel Bitonio was talking at a school, and one of the kids said, my favorite player is Nick Chubb, and Joel Bitonio FaceTimed Nick Chubb in the middle of this interview,
how
right?
awesome is
Which
that?
is really cool. So I thought I was going to have a similar experience. So my buddy Ramadi is here, And he's one of the co-owners of Sweet Pork Wilson's, which is my favorite restaurant in
You've
Cleveland.
raved about it.
Love the place. And he graciously hosted my Little League team party on Sunday.
Nice.
Opened the restaurant just for our team.
Oh, man.
And the team feasted, right? But we had this funny moment because we were the only ones in there except for there was one couple. I don't know, the girlfriend knew, I don't know if she knew you, Ramadi, or somebody at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So they were sitting at a table, and the guy in the couple was a huge fan of the show.
Right.
And the girlfriend came up to me and asked if he could come meet me, and I said, yeah, of course. So I was talking with him. His name was Lee, nice guy, right? And I'm talking for him for a few minutes, and he goes, I got to tell you, I love G. Bush, man. G. Bush is the best. Did you FaceTime? So I said, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to FaceTime G. Bush right now.
Did you
I said,
FaceTime him?
I thought about Nick Chubb. I thought about Joel. I was the Joel Batonio. He's the Nick Chubb.
He didn't answer.
I'm like, G. Bush, he's not great. I said to the guy, G. Bush is not great on his phone, but he'll answer. I'm FaceTiming him. Nothing. Then I call him.
Do I have
nothing.
FaceTime?
I never heard from him.
Well, you have an
no
iPhone,
text,
right?
no nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have FaceTime. Do I have FaceTime? He doesn't even know if he has it.
So here I am trying to get this special moment for Lee, who loves G. Bush.
Shout out to Lee. Hey, listen, shout out to Lee. We gotta do. Here's how I pay everybody off with merch. Shout out to Lee. Give me your. Get Mikey McNuggets. Get him together.
Yeah.
If you email the show, where can email you at, McNuggets? Put it out there.
Yeah.
Just you email it at UCSS or it's UCSS at WKYC.com.
He's got to be watching. He said he watches
Lee,
the show
if
every
you're
day.
watching, get that email to McNuggets. I'll get you a barbershop
There you go.
Kool-Aid Mafia
There you
gear.
go, Lee.
I apologize. I'll be tardy.
We have a jam-packed show. We got a lot of
Yeah.
surprises coming up. But before we talk football, baseball, and basketball, for some real legit Cleveland sports talk, we've been putting together a compilation of some special moments over the last 2 years. And this is a little 1-minute recap of things I think you guys may enjoy.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I like these things.
If you're going to bang a cousin, make sure it's a second
You better
cousin.
let
I ate it and I even swallowed it, but
I do think they could, but you're making me do one of these guys.
I'm gonna be in you. You got to be able to stroke that thing. What does the package look like?
Let him go get his nipples ripped off against the Yankees.
That's football porn.
Yeah.
Look, that's football porn.
Mine's a little bigger than his.
Well, all right. I was like a dog in heat. My knees just kept going.
Eat a Built Bar. It will guarantee to put a good taste in your mouth.
Like, so you catch some bodies on the war zone.
Oh.
He's a nice sized guy.
What is the matter with him? Does he have a problem with his ass?
I'd like to strip him.
I was trying to see what it was when he was saying, so I got a basketball.
that's a visual. I'm all over that titty.
You know what? Just give me my white hood now. I'm keeping Larry.
They never swallows. Good to know.
Just throwing them cheese up on me.
If I feel like he's having fun, I'll go a little longer.
And he's, plowing Fernando Vina.
Well, it is true that I work for Sports Channel Ohio, but it's completely false that I was Slider. I've never been inside a furry animal.
Oh my God.
So we had to go back.
man.
There's some more.
That was
Anthony's
called
done a
Super
good job
Pause, wasn't
compiling
it?
it.
Just
but,
super duper.
that was the Super Pause list. So a little 1-minute compilation of your guys' best out of context quotes.
You know what it
over the
is?
last
It's
few
really
years.
like junior high locker room
Yeah.
Bro.
stuff that was funny then, and it's still, to me, it's still funny
Right.
now.
That's a real.
mean,
that reel should get a million views.
That's the real locker room talk right there.
Yeah, 100%
That is locker room
unfiltered.
talk.
Unfiltered and guys, I
Well,
promised
you had a couple really good ones in there. I'm not even going to repeat them. But
I promised you guys surprises throughout the show. Now I promised the audience surprises. I didn't tell you about a couple things we had up our sleeve.
that was good.
That's not it.
Oh.
Let's hit the real surprise. Steve,
Uh-oh.
what's up, Leroy?
What?
He was not on the rundown.
Let the record show, Leroy, when we went over the rundown for our 500th show, Mikey said, does everything look good? And I said, no. There's one glaring absence.
He did say that.
Where the hell's Leroy?
And then Mike said, we don't have time. Leroy's going to answer
Leroy
one
will
question.
come on,
He takes too
and
long.
next thing you know, it's a 5-hour show.
I wouldn't miss this for the world because I can't believe you guys got through 500. Hey,
Oh, man.
and I got to say I'm happy to be a part of it. It's been fun. You guys do a hell of a job. I wish Tyvis was on the show for this reason, because I brought a little something.
No, I'm sure there's some Michigan.
If you guys do 500 shows 2 more times, you still won't add up to the amount of days the last time Ohio State beat Michigan.
Wow, that's crazy.
Man, that hurt.
That's
He's got the edge right now. There's nothing he can do.
Hey, 1,600 plus days. But that's okay.
That's crazy.
No, wait a minute. How are you counting? That's not true.
Why not?
How many times have you beaten us in a row?
That's 3, right?
3?
Okay. How many days in a year?
365?
Oh, because you guys backed out of the COVID year.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wait,
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, wait. Listen.
Well, we can't play.
Don't question my numbers. Don't question my numbers. I did the research on this. You best believe any Michigan, Ohio State numbers I come up with are going to be
because you don't have a lot of them. I
got 1,600 right now.
Yeah, but
And count.
700 of those
played till
days are
November.
because you guys chickened out in the COVID game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
really.
how we got to go back. We got to go back to COVID to the last time you could say something negative about Michigan.
We had you guys in 2020, but you guys we can't play.
COVID. It was a pandemic.
We can't. Everybody else is playing. How many other teams did you play that year? Came up to Ohio State, and all of a sudden you guys feel sick.
Hey, Leroy, that sound like Jay wasn't being quarantined back then. You sound like you was very frugal.
Hey,
Very liberal.
Look, I had my mask on.
Jay had
I'm
people all in
being
the
careful.
basement
Hey,
hanging out.
knock on wood. I never got COVID.
Wow, no kidding.
Right.
Wow.
You know why?
You took the
Because I'm
Michigan
a
approach. You
Wolverine
stayed
and I
home.
played it smart. Y'all Buckeyes out there just...
Hey, guess what, Leroy? I got it twice. And guess what? Here I am.
Oh, okay.
Felt like a little cold.
Okay. All right. I
Just
got
saying.
you. Hey, I'm just saying. But
Hey, how's
anyway.
your coach doing?
Oh, you know. Oh, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. I call that. Yeah, listen. I call that the Pete Carroll.
Yeah, he did the Pete Carroll. You're right. Hit and get.
But you
He
know
knew
what?
those sanctions were coming.
But he look. I said midway through the season, not because of what Jim was doing, but because of what that coach in San Diego was doing. That like, boy, there's gonna be an open spot because he did everything he could to lose that job.
And it worked.
Hey, Leroy, who the Browns drafting?
Dude, you know what? There's a lot of teams that have a lot of areas that they need to fill, right? I would say I wouldn't necessarily go offensive line. I would say you got some time to get another wide receiver. I'm thinking if I had to make a pick, I'm going secondary, linebacker, or D-line.
I wouldn't have thought secondary. That's great.
I would go inside because here, dude, the way these secondaries got to cover now, you're gonna need to be 3 or 4 deep. You know what I mean? And guys been getting banged up, and then you got to start relying on the Eli Apples of the world. So I'm gonna just go ahead on. Oh, he don't play for the Browns. Sorry, my bad. He just.
You know what, though, Leroy? That's not. It's really. It's unorthodox because we've been talking about where they're going to go, and no one has said defensive back. We've been going wide receiver or linebacker. But the interesting.
Well,
thing
because I'm
about
just
that,
thinking in past years, right? When you got hurt in the secondary, you struggled.
Yeah, you do.
So there's nothing wrong with having some depth at some point in the draft.
Right, and Leroy, if you're looking for a group that this Browns regime has had a lot of success drafting,
they draft
it's
corners.
the back end of the defense. They've hit some home runs with those draft picks.
Now, I would like to see them, you know, like later on, like there's a lot of receivers in the draft. You could probably get you some speed. I would probably, you know, it wouldn't be too much of a problem to go ahead on and try to add to that.
Right.
You did add to it, and now you have, you know, a deep threat, and then you have, you have Coop, who, like, man, he's the real deal. Like I don't care what people say about Coop, he can't get open or whatever. That dude catches the ball and makes plays. End of discussion. And so you have, you know, if you can add that 1-2 punch and maybe add a third in there, you know, a little like third round or something. It's a deep draft in wide receivers, you know. But if you could go and get, say, one of them big D linemen up the middle, right? If you could add a secondary guy to give you some depth, because I'm looking at it from this standpoint. When things went south, when guys start getting banged up, and everybody's going to get banged up, it happened a lot in the secondary. It limited what you could do defensively. And so I wouldn't be, upset if they decided to add a defensive back. If I had to really think about it, where did they draft? They draft
54.
54. I'm guessing you're going to have access to either a wide receiver, maybe a D lineman, and maybe somebody in the secondary. And then at that point, you could probably always add an offensive lineman. Right?
I think,
or maybe even a running back.
I think they don't have a clear, desperate need anywhere, which is good. Whoever they draft in the second round is probably not going to be a starter this year unless the guy's just so good they can't keep him out of the lineup. But I think the three positions where a lot of their depth is older is the D-line, the O-line, and wide receiver. At those three positions, they got a lot of guys that are older and on short-term contracts. And those happen to be three positions that are pretty strong in this draft. So I would lean towards those three positions.
But here's the deal.
Yeah.
With all the quarterbacks and when you see all the wide receivers go, all these players, all these positions are going to start dropping, right? So you might be able to get a first-round talent in the second round. Or move up and get somebody like that in the second round. And if you can do that, it might not matter what position he is because you're getting a first-round talent in the second round.
That's true.
And everything moves down that way. So you're going to be able to get some quality talent because somebody going to draft 6 quarterbacks in the first round because they feel like they need quarterback.
Leroy is...
And then we're going to do this again next year.
Yeah. I'm curious, obviously we had John All during the season. And we know what happened to Nick Chubb. But now that it's the offseason, and now they've restructured his contract, we know he's going to be here. As someone who played the position, obviously, for many years, talk about, what he's going through as a player. Because obviously, that was a devastating injury. He tore 2 ligaments in there. And what are your expectations for Nick Chubb this season?
First of all, it's Nick Chubb. That dude is the real deal. I don't know what, to expect from him, but I do know this. If there's any level of talent left, he gonna get it because he's always put in the work. He's always been he's always been a guy that, we line up on Sunday, guess who you ain't got to worry about? Nick Chubb.
That's right.
And so until I see otherwise, that's how I'm approaching. That I ain't worried about Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb gonna do what he got to do.
In the course of your career, Leroy, can you remember a player that you played with who was still, I don't want to say at the peak because it's hard to say that Nick Chubb was at the peak of his career because the short lifespan that running backs tend to have. But can you remember a guy who was in the middle of his career that had a devastating injury like this that didn't make it back, and also one that had a similar injury that you saw come back and flourish?
Well, one of the reasons why I ended up in Minnesota was Robert. Robert used to always get bent up and folded up because he was a little wiry, and he always seemed to come back better than ever.
Right.
I have seen guys like I hurt my knee my 3rd year in preseason, and I limped for a whole season, and I'm like, is this it? Wow. Right? Is this where my career is? And then it took me that off season to realize that, okay, I just needed rest, that I really wasn't healthy.
Right.
And so that's the thing that I always caution people on. Just because you see a guy on the field does not mean he's healthy. He's just making it look good, but he can't do the things he want to do. So as the season goes on, or as he starts his comeback, I'm going to watch to see, okay, I'm going to have a picture of what Nick Chubb was. I'm going to understand he's a little bit older. And then I'm going to see some of the things that he does on the field and try to establish how close or far he is from that,
Right.
and whether that can be productive. But I'm not going to pass a judgment on him just because he's on the field.
Smart.
Great stuff, Leroy. Thanks,
Appreciate
buddy.
you.
All right,
Thanks for being
buddies.
a part of it.
All right.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Talk
you.
to you later.
Thanks for being a huge
All right.
part of it. Leroy, we'll see you
Thanks,
once the
Leroy.
football season rolls around.
Okay.
That was
All
a
righty.
nice surprise.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
That was a really nice surprise.
Yeah.
I got one more. One
you had
more
a great
coming in a
poker
little
face
bit.
too, by the way. When I brought
Yeah.
his name up the other day, you were like, "Well, I'd love to get him in too, but we're really, really packed."
No minutes.
But you got it in there.
Leroy did say when I talked to him, he's like, "I'll be 5 minutes, I promise." He just went 14. So in classic Leroy fashion, blew it up, but it worked right in because that was the topic we were going to talk
That's our
about
fault, though.
anyway.
We had a lot of questions. And
We're going to talk guards next in a sec before we talk Cavs with Brad Sellers, who's coming in. But a quick word from Monopoly Go. You guys know I'm a competitive person, and I have a competitive side. We all do. And my competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. By now, I'm sure you heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big-time money. But the best part is messing with my friends. I can now charge them rent on my iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly. I can also rob them of their riches from their vaults for myself. And the leaderboards show me who the biggest Monopoly tycoon truly is. It's not just my competitive side that loves it, though. You can team up with friends and people all around the world in time tournaments to earn huge rewards. So get in on the game, join your friends, download Monopoly Go now for free on the App Store or Google Play. Guys, the Guardians just keep on winning. 17-6 ties the best start in the history of the Cleveland baseball franchise. And this
Thanks for
time it
stealing
was
my
Ben
thunder,
Lyman.
Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bull. Here,
I wanted to
Thunder's
mention
yours.
that.
Go.
Well, I wanted to mention that the team's been around since 1901. The franchise has been around from 1901. They've tied the record, their record for the best start to the season. The last time they did it was 1999, starting 17-6. They have the best run differential in the game by, I think they're 11 runs better than the Atlanta Braves.
That's stunning. That's the part that's crazy.
It's
to me.
crazy because run differential is a real telling stat.
It is. I love that stat.
Yeah.
It measures your pitching and your hitting
That's
at
right.
the same time.
The Guardians have scored the second most runs in the American League. Who has that? The Guardians have allowed the least amount of runs in all of baseball. They're top 5 in hits per game in the majors. They're they're 6th in runs per game in the majors. 13th in home runs per game, which for them is a great accomplishment.
Huge jump.
They're top 5 in earned runs allowed by a pitching staff. They're top 5 in walks and hits per 9 innings by a pitching staff. And they are strikeouts per 9, I believe they're 3rd.
Yeah.
They're doing that. And Ben Lively has been
Jeez.
great. He's a journeyman. I don't expect him to be great, but first
been
two
great
starts
to
have been
two-
fantastic.
It's been awesome.
He pitched really well. And once again, the Guardians won a game that they absolutely would have lost last year. It was a scoreless game. Red Sox hit a home run in the 7th. Last year, they lose that game 2-0.
You felt like when that happened, like, uh-oh, just because the way they were hitting.
Right.
But what's crazy, Bull, is they're getting production from the guys you need production from.
Yeah.
But last night, they get a couple of hits from guys that,
Right.
you don't know what you're going to get from these
That's
guys.
true.
And it's almost like the most unlikely guy comes through when no one else has.
Yeah, Rocchio got a big hit last night. He hasn't been hitting.
Yes.
Florial got a big hit last
That's
night.
exactly right.
No doubt. Jose did hit that. That was a very odd home run.
He
for him.
doesn't
He
hit
never
opposite
hits them
field
like that.
home runs.
No, not like that.
No.
I mean, that was
But it was a 90. That was
Yeah.
Especially from the right-hand side of the plate.
Yeah.
I've never seen him go opposite field and hit a home run. And when he
I
hit
don't know
it,
that he has.
I think
I'll be
Zach
honest.
Meisel said it was the first time he's done it in 7 years. Hit one that far down the right field line.
Yeah, it almost never happened.
Yeah, I mean, that was bizarre.
I think he might have been sitting something off speed and got a fastball
Looked
that
like
he
it.
thought he could handle, and he
Yes.
jumped on it. Because it's very rare to see him hit a
Yeah.
ball the opposite way. I've seen him hit balls to center, right center from the right
Sure,
side of the
yeah,
plate.
but not like down
but
the line
I've never
like
seen
that.
him skirt the foul pole like he
No.
did with this one. But he smoked it, man.
I
and
need-
you knew it right away. It was
Yeah.
gone.
by the way, I need to come up with a T-shirt. I don't know what this Super Mario thing is right here.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
their
rocking right
celebration
now.
this
year. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
celebration on the second base. I need a T-shirt.
and
He did it rounding the bases.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
And
look,
they
contagious.
They scored those first 2 runs against Tanner Houck, who's pitched better against them than anybody.
What you
this
mean?
year.
He was out there
He
looking like
killed him
Verlander.
last week,
I
and he
know
was
he
killing
did.
him last night.
Yeah.
And to score those 2 runs off him in the bottom of the 7th,
Big.
it was
Real
big.
big.
It was
And
some
then
big-
Bull,
Yeah.
I think the unsung group of this team has been the bullpen.
Oh, they've been great.
The bullpen has been absolutely lights out.
Yeah.
Clase came in last night. I think he struck out the side.
And he's feeling
He
himself
did that
right now.
correct.
He had wicked stuff.
He is at the top of his game right now.
Throwing that 100-mile-an-hour cutter low and in to a lefty, you have no chance.
The movement, like the second strikeout, he just blew him away.
Overpowered.
But the first and third strikeout, like the batter missed by like 3 feet. They had no clue where the ball was going.
Man, he's looking
He
good.
is bar none the best closer in baseball right now.
Absolutely,
You know what sucks
100%.
about this? Do you know what sucks about this?
Yeah.
Is the fact that we didn't have any sort of we didn't have any hope in terms of these guys playing the way they are and being in first place like they are, given what the roster is. This is the whole old argument that comes back to hold true. Like in baseball, if you're not really spending no money like that,
I don't know how they're doing it.
I can't. Now, how am I going to come up next year and say y'all should be spending this bread? But look what they've been doing with this.
Well,
I can still say that.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If you're doing that on a Minimowski payroll,
Right.
it just tells you how smart their front office is
Yeah.
and how efficient they are, how they get more with less money invested into payroll.
Give them more
Give them a
weapons.
little bit
Yeah.
more.
Let them put
because there are weaknesses on this team.
there's no doubt.
They're going to need another bat.
They're gonna
I
need
still
another
think
pitcher.
they're going to need another arm too.
They're gonna have to trade for a pitcher, I think, for the first time. The last significant pitching trade they made starting, I think, was Ubaldo Jimenez like 12 years ago.
Yeah, they don't need to.
You know,
Where
but
Typically,
this
don't
year
need
they
to.
do.
And they've got the #1 overall pick in the amateur draft. That's when is that? June?
Yeah,
Late June.
Well, I like that
Oh, the kid
Caglione.
from Florida. Oh my
Oh no,
God.
was it Georgia or Florida? Caglione.
No, Florida.
Caglione's Florida. Charlie Condon is Georgia.
Right,
Both
the Florida
national
kid that
But I
like.
watched the
I'll be
Florida
watching
kid,
Big lefty.
a little bit 'cause
Well,
he
they
was
also
on
got this
TV.
other big lefty, Ralphie Velasquez, who's killing it in the minors. And Manzardo's red hot. He's hit home runs 3 days in a row for Columbus.
Yeah, so
so
watch
he's
out.
going to be up soon. But like, who do you take off the roster? You probably want to take Ramon Laureano, but they're paying him like $8 million. So I don't know if they're going to do
but
that.
Bull, he's been a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to
He's
play
been a
him every day,
disappointment.
but man,
He struck out looking at a pitch yesterday that was
Yeah.
like served
I
up
know.
on a platter.
But
It was-
yeah, Barlow's been really good after he started. He was shaky in the beginning.
Yeah, he's
obviously
thrown it well.
Gaddis has been fantastic. I mean, they have found such a role for
It
him.
looks like Gaddis will be your 8th inning guy.
Yeah.
And Clase will be your 9th inning guy. And if they end up having as much success as Tito did with his 8th and 9th combo
Yeah.
in 2016, this team is you're talking about playing 7-inning games.
right.
Yeah.
But you can't. The pitcher's got to be able to go 6.
Yeah, I would.
Right.
But
I mean,
you know what? It seems like here recently the starters have
It's
been
been
stretching
better.
out into
It's
5
been
and
better.
6.
The starters have been better. I'm still worried about McKenzie.
Yeah, me
But
too.
I think Bibey's going to be fine. Even though he hasn't been great, his strikeout rate is up from last year.
What
which
happens
is
when
encouraging.
Gavin comes back? Like Cookie goes where? Because Carrasco has pitched relatively
He's
well.
pitched decently.
Is he a long reliever that you throw in the bullpen?
It's going to be interesting because really their worst starter has been Allen. I mean, he's probably been
Yeah, but
their
I have
worst.
no worries about Allen.
But I have. But
he looked good his last time out.
I don't trust McKenzie, although he was okay last time.
Yeah,
but it was against Oakland.
I just feel like it's a matter of time, like with McKenzie. Like
I do too. I'm holding my breath.
Yeah, so, and I don't want to say that, but it's just he has a torn ligament in his elbow. I mean, you could tell his velocity. You could tell. You can really see, like, even the movement on his pitches. It's just not. It's not.
He
to the
doesn't
level.
look like the same guy.
Yeah.
And it starts with the velocity, and then if you're not trusting your velocity, you start to nibble. You don't work the center of the plate. You're working on all edges, and when you work all edges, you miss, and you might miss your spot, which was set up outside. Instead of hitting the corner, you miss by 3 inches. That's a ball that gets spit on every time, and your walk total goes
By
up.
the way, I got two pitchers I'm keeping my eye on that I'm interested for the Guardians.
Oh, nice.
One is Jesus Luzardo, who used to be on Oakland. Now he's on the Marlins.
Right.
He's off to a rough start. If you look at his numbers, you're not gonna. He's a good pitcher. He's had a lot of success.
Right.
But his last start was actually pretty good. The 2 starts before that, he got smoked. But he's a good pitcher, and the Marlins are a disaster.
Right.
So. And they're going to have some young pitchers coming off the injured list later in the year. Not that he's pretty young too, but I got my eye on him. And then even a cheaper guy, Paul Blackburn of Oakland. I like what I've seen from him.
Yeah.
He's always been a pitcher that's been pretty good. He's been injury prone, But he's a guy who I think could help the back, because I think they're going to need a starter at some point.
I agree.
I'm still a little worried about the power, just a little bit.
There's some concerns.
Yeah,
but Josh,
because like we played the Yankees a couple years ago, and it's going to be some games you're going to need a 2-3 2-run home.
Yeah, you're going to need some home runs. Yeah,
Especially
but I'll
in the
tell you,
playoffs.
Jay, I'm curious your take on this. Yesterday we were debating. I said that since May of last year, last calendar year, that Josh Naylor is the best hitter on this team.
He is.
Right? I mean, he's better than Jose right now.
He is.
Remember in April, he couldn't hit lefties, as we know, before last year.
Yeah.
Last April, got off to a terrible start, still couldn't hit lefties. Since May of last year, the guy's gone from being, I can't hit lefties, to I'm very good against lefties.
He has a
It's
better
crazy.
record against lefties than a
It's
lot
insane.
of their righties do.
It's insane because he couldn't hit lefties to save his life before
No.
last May.
And
he's turned it around. I said yesterday, if it's the bottom of the ninth and I got the bases loaded, 2 outs, I want him up.
I do too.
Every time.
He's been clutch all this
Big
season.
time. Big time.
And I know it sounds like it's a stretch to say that he's actually our best hitter right now. Look, I
asked
think
that
it's 1
question
and 1A.
yesterday, Jay.
What's that?
Is he
We
better
had that
than
exact
Quan?
debate yesterday. I asked that direct
Yeah,
question.
and I think
If I just needed a single, I'd rather have Quan.
Yeah, he's
But-
better than Quan.
Yeah, but I'm talking. No, yeah, but I know what you're talking
You
about.
know what I'm saying.
You're talking about you need a big bat.
Got
you.
And
Right.
you're in a spot where you're not down 1, you're down 2, and you've got 2 guys on. Who
Right.
do you want coming up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jose's off to a bit
Right.
of a slow start
Yeah.
for him. But Josh Naylor, and I talked to Josh about hitting lefties at spring training this year. And I said, you did something that's one of the most difficult things in all of baseball to do. You worked on your weakness, and you improved it to where you're actually above average.
It's hard to believe.
And he said, I just put it in my mind. He said it's a mindset. We're told in baseball that you can't hit lefties if you're
Right.
a left-handed hitter. He's like, I just wiped that thought out of my mind and worked really hard in the offseason
Yeah.
about hitting pitches from that angle, and he turned it into a strength. And now when you look at the front of their lineup, when you've
Yeah.
got guys that can switch hit, and you've got guys now that are actually hitting lefties better than righties are hitting lefties.
Yeah.
It's going to be really tough for teams to match up against the Guardians with lefties, where in years past,
Yeah.
we were horrible against
Right.
lefties.
Well, Quan can hit lefties,
Quan
obviously.
can hit 'em.
But,
And
you know,
Jimenez is
yeah,
he hasn't hit for power yet,
Yeah.
but he's hitting the. Oh, I shouldn't say he hasn't hit for power. He's had doubles, but he hasn't hit home runs.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll come, and he looks like he's back to being that guy we saw 2 years ago.
He does.
And Jose, yeah, it's been a slow start, not terrible, but a little slow, and he'll pick it up. But
If he gets into that stretch where he gets 18 home runs in a month,
Yeah.
and we've seen him do that.
And Bo Naylor's
Look
going to get
out.
hot. Bo Naylor's too talented. He'll get hot. They need a right fielder. They need a right fielder and a starting pitcher. And I'm hoping that they will get those guys. If they had a right fielder and a starting pitcher that are legit, like a solid, I'm not saying an ace, like a number 3 starter,
Yeah.
and a right fielder that could bop 25 home runs. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. And Naylor, if he stays healthy, he'll hit 30 home runs this year.
I don't think there's any
so.
question
They
about
didn't-
he's got 7 already.
Yeah.
They didn't give too much back defensively. Freeman has been okay in center field.
No,
He's been very
not
good.
been okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Now they lost a little from the Gold Glover that
Sure.
they had.
So,
But
yeah.
if I'm judging him just on his center field play this year, on what I expected him to be, I thought if we can get a 7 out of him,
Right, that's
or
what
an
I think,
8,
yeah.
he's been a 9.
Oh, he's
made plays. The play he made the other day where he
With
made the catch
McKenzie
and then
pitching.
the throw in.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Oh my God!
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know that Miles Straw makes that play.
I mean,
don't.
that is a very hard. Considering the guy never played center field before,
Unreal.
he's been sensational out there. He's been great.
Rocchio is done his thing at shortstop. I like the tandem between him and
Yeah.
Jimenez.
And Arias has played well here of
Yeah.
late.
Yes.
Arias has done a nice job. They're getting contributions.
How about the throw Fry made behind home plate last
He's
night?
played great.
Now,
He had the runner off first base
Yeah.
because he sort of started and stopped.
Yeah.
That snap throw was as good as any you'll see.
Fry,
By the way,
Fry stealing. That's a steal from him. I was like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Stephen Kwan on pace for 240 hits.
That's Ichiro territory.
Yep.
That's insane.
By the way, I just saw the stat this morning. This is crazy. I don't know if anybody knew that. So Ichiro, in his 10th at bat in the majors, got a hit to improve to 3 for 10, which means he was hitting 300. From that moment on, the rest of his career, he never hit under 3. His career batting average was never under 300.
Stop playing with me.
wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Stop
Did
playing
you
with
send
me.
me? Somebody sent me. I can't remember if it was you. Someone sent me an Instagram video, I believe, that was fascinating. It was titled "Where Have All the 300 Hitters Gone?"
No, I don't think that
And
was
the
me.
video was
Yeah.
It was set to music, and
Yeah.
it just was a home plate and a number in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it showed you the number of 300 hitters.
Oh, yeah, gosh.
Year by year by year by year. And it went back to when we were kids
Yeah.
in the 80s and 90s where there was routinely 20 guys in each league that hit 300.
Right.
And there were a couple of years where George Brett hit like 388. Rod Carew.
Tony Gwynn.
Wade
You thought, man,
Boggs.
somebody's going to make
Yeah.
a run at 400.
Right.
Now, so the number was like 45 in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's down to like 12.
Yeah, the only guy putting up huge batting averages was Luis Ariz the last few years.
Yes.
He's the one guy.
He is. He's the outlier.
But Quan could be that guy. I mean, we had Hargrove on yesterday, which was great, and I asked him because I said to me, Stephen Kwan's an old school player. Like, he's an old school leadoff hitter.
I agree with that.
And Hargrove was like, yeah, he is. He's 100%.
Any manager would love to put him at the top
Yeah,
of
he
his
could have
lineup.
played in any era, Stephen Kwan.
And I think all of this, by the way, that we're talking about,
Yeah.
the number of 300 hitters in a season has gone down because it's become an all-or-nothing game. Everybody's swinging for the fences. Everybody wants home runs. Your contact rate goes down. I once had a conversation with Wade Boggs, who, by the way, told me before he did it that his 3,000th hit was going to be a home run. And it was.
amazing.
He was the first ever to do it. If
Yeah.
you watched him take batting practice, you would say this guy's a 30 to 40 home run a year guy. He could hit 8-10 pitches in a row over the fence in batting practice. So I used to ask him, Wade, why don't you increase your power? He goes, I like hitting 350.
Yeah.
I like hitting.
Yeah.
If he played today, he'd be a 280 hitter with 40 home runs a year.
And by the way, yes, no doubt. By the way, this division is not trash either like it's been. I mean, the Royals and Tigers are much improved.
Right. The White Sox are colossal bad.
I mean, all time. They're averaging.
You know what it is? I think they've quit already.
It feels like it.
Because when I do watch them, what little I've watched them, like they're not engaged.
They're averaging 2.1 runs per game, which
my
is
God.
all-time bad. The Twins are playing bad, but they'll improve.
Twins will be
The
bad.
Royals and Tigers are both solid teams.
But I think the Royals are playing over their skis.
Yeah,
But the Tigers I like.
But I like the Royals' veteran pitchers. They're guys who know how to get out. They're not great.
It's an interestingly built team.
Yeah,
it is.
it's a good, decent team.
Mike,
We're going to talk Cavs in 1 sec, but I got another little special message from you guys. We went to Miami for Leroy. We went to Munich for Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
And our guy David from Australia has a special message
Oh,
on our 500th
nice.
episode. Steve, play it.
G'day blokes, your favourite Aussie guest, just wanting to drop by and congratulate you on your 500th episode. What a huge achievement, a fantastic milestone. So much hard work has gone into creating the show and getting a loyal following. That loyal following is reaching a worldwide audience, myself and the Melbourne Browns backers included. Just wanted to send a heartfelt congrats to everybody that's been involved with the show. And moving forward, I can just only see bigger and better things. So much love from down under, and keep up the fantastic work, and talk to you all soon. Congrats again.
Thank you, David.
He sent that in without asking, by the way.
Did he really?
That's
said,
awesome.
I have a message for the guys. You mind if I send it in? I said, of course.
That's incredible.
You know what's funny about that is David looks like somebody from Cleveland. If you didn't hear him talk, he's got the beard. He looks like a blue-collar Cleveland guy.
You're absolutely right. He does.
And then he talks, and then you hear the Australian accent.
G'day, bloke.
What is happening
You
here?
know what? It really is a kind of a cool feeling to think that what comes out of this little studio every day
it's little too.
puts a smile on people's faces in Australia,
England,
in India,
Iceland.
and England and Iceland and all these crazy faraway places that we have viewers from every single day.
Wild.
What an impact.
No,
and
it is.
Just what a job
is
by
pretty
everybody
cool.
involved in this
I said it to
project.
start. I'll say it again. Thank you guys for watching. Your support is incredible. And David, appreciate you. It's 3:30 in the morning in Melbourne, and he's
Thanks,
watching right now. He
David.
texted me. So
Way to go, David.
appreciate that. We're gonna bring Brad in here after a quick word from eBay Motors. Passion, the winning formula for championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's time to make your car the MVP and bring home some huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit is only available for U.S. customers. And let's welcome in Brad Sellers for a little playoff talk. with your
Hey,
Cleveland
like old
Cavaliers.
times.
That's some BS right there.
No question. No question.
Hey,
Man, is it good to see
It's
your
good
face?
to be
they
here.
done draped you out in the gear, I see.
You see I'm with the gear.
Yeah.
I see him with the
Yeah,
gear. Draped
that's
you
right.
out.
See the hat.
Team official gear.
First of all, how have you been? It's been a minute.
I'm good. man.
Everything
I'm
good?
Everything is good. I'm glad to be here. I'm thinking,
It's great to have you.
man,
Great to have you.
500 shows.
Unbelievable.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It really is.
Before we get, I gotta give you your flowers. Before we even get to this, this was a show about a year ago, and Brad predicted the explosion of the women's game.
I mean,
Yes, he
You,
did.
you predicted.
You
You
were
said
on it.
you said Final Four is in Cleveland. You talked about what it's going to look like, and now, like after that run,
it beat the men's tournament in the
Yeah.
ratings.
how did it? Because you were really into the women's game, and you obviously your daughter, a future WNBA player. How was that to see the game explode like that?
Well, I guess from my standpoint, I have been following it from AAU. I've seen the talent that was down there. And what is attractive about the women's game is that, one, they've been taught it the right way.
Fundamentals.
They play it the way it's supposed to be played.
Right.
This new thing in the men's league is hijacked. Somebody around for you. I don't even know who on Ohio State team, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Which is sinful, right?
I know.
And so, but it was caused, the NCAA caused it themselves, right? And this is the byproduct. And the women's game, there's a talent of young women coming through the system now. These are the ones that were in AAU with Cheyenne. This is who's down there. They're going to have a long run here.
I hope
a long run here.
There are some that think that with Caitlin Clark gone, that there's going to be a big drop off now. What do you say to that?
No, there's some ones behind her, and because it's only going to get better.
Right.
She's moving the needle, and I don't understand. Some of the hate that she gets.
I don't either. I don't either.
And it's like, because what she's doing is not doing a disservice to you. She's actually helping everybody out. Yeah. For her, when I look at it, it's Bird and Magic for me, right?
Oh, wow.
Remember, because Magic was the first one that had. Remember, Magic had the first $1 million contract. Everybody was like, $1 million. You got over 25 years.
25 years, right?
Yeah, but you got $1 million. But those two were the ones that moved the needle. That wasn't nothing against Oscar Robertson and Will Chamberlain.
Right.
Those were the ones that moved the needle. Now, what happens is they should be thankful. Now that she's opening the door, because now the Player Association and the league should come together. Did you know they're down there, the women who are in WNBA, 12-year, 13-year veterans, have no pension, have no,
I know,
no
it's
insurance?
And a high tide rises all boats.
It's criminal.
Yeah.
She's going to lift the sport. A lot of people were angry when they saw what her contract was, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
She's making $75,000 a year.
Yeah.
She's it, and she's making $75,000 a year. And I watched and read a lot of different pieces as to why that is. And obviously the TV contract in the NBA compared to the WNBA, the WNBA TV contract is $60 million. Now that's going to change.
Yeah.
But a lot of folks were rightfully saying the biggest reason that she's making so little money is the Players Association has no gas yet.
They had no leverage.
But that's changing.
It's changing. Here's the story. It's all going to change, because you're right. What fuels any league is the TV money. Well, let me tell you something. I don't see the men's game getting popular anytime soon. The women's game is popular. Why?
It is growing.
Because you get to know these kids from the time they were 18 to 22. You actually can follow them and like, yes, that's who it is. And I'll tell you the other thing about women's basketball. Who follows it is the entire family. It's not just one or two people in the family. It's the entire family.
Right.
And so that turns into clicks, viewers, everything else.
Sure.
But to the point where it passed the men's tournament in ratings, it was.
I never thought I'd see that.
The women's championship, I believe, was the highest rated non-football sporting event in like 5 years.
You're right.
Except for maybe one soccer match. I mean, it's
beat
crazy.
all the NBA Finals games.
Yeah, World Series, all of it.
It didn't just grow in terms of comparing it to women's basketball.
Yeah.
It was eclipsing men's sports that have been wildly popular.
I believe the WNBA draft ratings were up like 350%.
They were.
Huge number for the draft.
Because now they're outside of their shell. I saw more commercials, more Instagram
Yeah, you're seeing them
followers.
a lot on that. Yep.
Like, they self outside of the basketball court. You actually get to know them like Cardoza. I was like, dang, who's this? This girl is a monster.
The other thing on the flip side, I can actually know you well enough to hate you. I don't like you.
Right.
I don't like you.
Right.
That's gone in the guy. I don't even know who these dudes are.
No,
right? I really don't know who they are.
The Ohio State roster, I'm a Buckeye fan too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's turned over with the portal and all that, and they've got a lot of nice kids coming in. But even in that situation, these kids will be there for a year.
It's one and done.
Gone.
Well, think about it. How many the women drafted in the top 10? I think most of us knew at least 6 or 7. If not more.
Yeah.
I can't tell. I don't know who's being drafted in the top 10 in the NBA.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
No.
I said the thing about it is that it is the unanticipated consequences of the NCAA's failure to. They should have cut a deal in the 90s because the student athletes, all they wanted was some basic stipend.
Sure.
If they hadn't been so greedy,
If they hadn't been greedy,
right.
this thing would not even be here.
No, I agree with
All
that.
you do put $3,000, $4,000 in somebody's pocket.
That's it.
You're gonna get
Because they just
nothing.
wanted money to eat and things of that
We
nature.
just want gym shoes.
Right.
Yeah, give me some gym shoes and a pizza. That's all I wanted. I didn't want too much. But the last time you was here too, I would believe it was playoff time, and boy, the Knicks was giving us the business. How have the Cavs changed this year against Orlando from last year?
Well, I think they're just a year older and a year smarter. They got the scars of last year. Everybody sees it, right? And then and then I was laughing at people, talking about the last game of the season, right? I said, man, people, who wants to play the hardest team possible, right?
I ain't doing that.
You're looking for matchups, right? It's no different than an NFL guy saying, I'm sitting the starting quarterback the last game of the season. Y'all sit down, right? I'm not playing my players here,
Sure.
right? It's the same scenario. Now, what we need to do is get out of the first round. I think that's the first key.
Right.
Can they win in Orlando? Orlando's a pretty good home team.
I said that. I said that on the air the other day. I tell you what, the game to get for me is 3.
Yes.
Don't be fooling around down there.
No.
Do not fool around down there. You got to go get game 3 here, and you get game 3 here.
Right.
Then we'll finish it. We'll figure a way to finish it out. But if you go back down there and fool around and let them get life. Because one game will give you life.
Yeah.
And they've been a good team at home.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's funny, Brad, the Cavs really aren't playing well on offense.
No.
They're playing good defense, but they really haven't. They've shot the ball poorly from 3 in these.
Well, I think, and the only good thing for us that Orlando shot it worse than we had.
They can't shoot.
Oh my God.
They
like
can't
all
shoot.
time bad.
And I was like, so for us, we just need to figure out a way to get out of round 1. And I will tell you this, though, what I have been impressed with, Donovan Mitchell's response, because he hears it too. Like,
And Jared Allen, too.
And then I was going to Jared.
sorry.
Bull,
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
Jared is carrying the scars from last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's talked about it all year long. He said, I got the narrative. This is the story. Until I rewrite it, and I can only rewrite it in these playoffs, as where I can rewrite
It's
it.
mature of him to know that.
And he has played lights out, not just this stretch. He's played lights out the entire season.
All year.
All season long.
What was with Suggs? When Suggs went down, I thought, well, we've seen the last of him for the series.
This is the new soccer game.
Man, did he?
The European
I'm not
soccer
kidding.
game. Hey, Jay,
They carried
Jay,
him off the
I
floor.
fell out.
They carried him off the floor, and he's back there in the second half.
You done killed me.
It was unreal.
Look, I said this. Oh, he's done.
I did too.
He's done. And then I looked at halftime. You in the lineup?
Yeah, I said the same
Yeah, I
thing. When he went down, I said, "Oh, it's a sweep,"
Hey.
because he's a menace defensively. And by the way, how much do we hate Mo Wagner after just 2 games?
Listen, Mo Wagner he's the new Lambeer, right?
He is.
Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, Kelly Olynyk. Yes, you're right.
Hey, OG, he fell out like when you used to fall out in the store and you only did it one time.
Yeah,
because
your mom moved your
got
butt.
you. She said, "Oh, I got you." When we get to the car, you done fell out. People were looking at him. What's wrong with him? Don't worry about him. We got him when we get home.
I want to deal with
we
this.
go one time and one time only.
Gee, they carried him off his leg. I thought, oh, his leg.
I said, this is crazy. Now, game 3 is the game.
This is it.
You get game 3. You basically let them know this is all done.
If you win 3, that's over at no more than 5.
Well, this
Would be a gentleman's sweep.
Yes,
this is
it
what
is.
I've hoped for. I've hoped for that the Cavaliers come out and play strong, win the first series. I've hoped for Miami to take Boston to the brink.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what we have here.
Yeah.
Do you think Miami can do that though? Boston looked pretty good in game 1.
Yeah, they did look pretty good.
But
But you know what? Now, this is what I say, Jay. Boston has a tendency to fall into not the Boston of old times. Because sometimes you'll get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and you don't know what they're doing. Right?
Is it complacency? You think?
I don't know if it's complacency or it's built into their character. Right? I don't know
Lack
that.
of focus.
Right? 'Cause every year they've fallen off somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know when it's going to materialize, but I know this. Somewhere along it's going to materialize.
Can you imagine the Knicks and Cavs in the finals?
Oh, my God.
In the East Finals?
So while we're on that, It's been some great playoff basketball.
Oh my God, it's been fantastic.
It's been outstanding.
fantastic.
Well, that Knicks win over the Sixers in Game 2.
Hey,
The Lakers blowing that lead. Yeah.
Nick Nurse got fired.
Yeah.
I was like,
man.
did you not come out and say, okay, if they score the basket, we're going to immediate timeout?
Yeah.
Yes.
I said, and did not Kyle Lowry look like Isaiah Thomas throwing the ball into Larry Bird? I said, oh my God.
What are you doing?
I said, what are we doing here?
What are you doing?
Because they panicked.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like when a team completely
panicked.
melts down.
And the Lakers blew a 20-point lead.
yeah.
I saw
And then LeBron's bitching and moaning about a review in the third quarter.
Jay, and then I saw, you got to go to Twitter and stuff like that afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And the comments were like, MJ would have hit that.
Oh, I mean, that's always the case.
I got
MJ wouldn't have blown that lead.
I was so petty.
Other people are petty.
I went to the Valleys, L.A. I went to your man Big Game James Worthy and Robert Ory was sick.
So was Magic. Magic tweeted
he was
about it.
sick.
Oh, Magic
Magic tweeted about it. He said the's no one to blame but yourself.
You can't blame the refs after the game.
No, especially on a third quarter call.
Yeah,
I went to the Twitter hate. Let's see the X hate. Let's see what's,
No, it was everywhere from Laker Nation.
By the way, though, I will say that the way they use replay in the NBA is awful.
I hate it,
It
too.
takes forever.
That's too much.
I hate it, too.
I like, go back to old school. I'd rather live with the referee.
Yes,
blowing
live
the
and die
call.
with it in the moment. Let it go.
I'm tired of everybody. Every time you do something stupid, they doing this.
Yeah.
No, we ain't reviewing that, dog. That's
Stop
on you.
all that.
No, stop. No, we're
Yeah.
not doing that. That was an
Players
obvious
think
foul.
they never foul.
That
Players
was-
think they never
And then
foul,
the coach is like, no, we only got one
Hey,
challenge.
back to the Cavs and
Yeah.
Magic. I know the Magic are built – they're just a team that gets to the line a lot.
Yeah.
What, if anything, can the Cavaliers do to stop taking the bait on all of these fouls? Because they're going to – if they win a game in a series, I think it's going to be because they've been to the line too much and they finally hit their free throws.
Well, the thing I say is this, that if they start hitting the three-point shot, it could
It's
be
different.
It could be trouble for us,
Yeah.
right? So what I want us to do, Jay, is obviously control our emotions, play like we've been there before. We have, right? I said you're carrying the scars of last year, and I think that everybody sees that.
Right.
But I think when Donovan Mitchell comes out and plays like that from the beginning, it sends a comfort level of message to everyone else. And I need Darius to really get going here, right? Because because if we have any aspiration of really getting into this playoff, and
Well, he had a
doing
stretch
something-
in game 2 where he just took over the game.
Yeah. But then when Donovan comes back in, he reverts back to this secondary.
Is that
third
because
role,
there can
and I
only be
can't
one
figure it out.
alpha on the floor at any time?
I can't figure it out because, and G knows this, and Jay, you know this from playing. You have to carve out your space here.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Cheyenne when we got put out. Maryland got put out in the first round of the NCAA tournament by Iowa State. We were up in Stanford playing, right? And so she has a great stat line. I mean, she has 19 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. I said, you 6 for 11. I said, Cheyenne, I was sort of with her and the coach, Brenda Freeze, at a meeting. And I said, let me tell you something. You 6 for 11. We lose by 5, but we needed 22 shots out of you today.
Yeah.
Not 11.
Yeah.
I said, you have to hunt this. You have to hunt these shots, right? Because you have to know in your mind, I got to go. I can't wait.
Got to be the alpha.
What type of time we on? Like you got to understand the moment.
Yeah,
and
you got to understand the moment.
And sometimes Darius, like when Donovan ain't on that court, that's when you supposed to go crazy. You supposed to get it. And I don't mind Darius. When a couple times in the last game, he came off the screen and he was looking for a shot.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking for. He wasn't trying to probe and look. He came off shoulder square. Let's pull up. I think he got to get back to that aggressive level.
You're a legitimate threat here, right? And don't minimize your talent here.
Right.
But we need a couple dogs here going at it, right? And I said, when you do that, now it's different.
Sure.
Now, because I very well expect tomorrow night to see Orlando tee up on Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And say, go ahead, Jared Allen.
Make
Go
someone
ahead.
else beat
Go
them.
ahead, Evan Mobley.
Right.
You have all the fun you want.
But it's not going to be their
He's
superstar.
not going to be this one here.
Is that a smart? Do you like
Well,
that?
I mean, Orlando doesn't have that many options.
No.
It's not that many options here.
They're a good defensive team.
Right,
But
if
it does start with the
if
head
I
of the
can
snake.
neutralize the top dog,
Yeah.
what happens to the rest of the body?
And then they're going to watch for the extra physicality.
Oh yeah, come on.
That's coming.
Lay some wood.
That's coming.
But let me ask you this, Brad. Obviously, last year, everybody was criticizing the Cavs for being soft. They got out-muscled by the Knicks all series. and they have been tough in this series when the Magic have tried to bully them.
Yeah.
How big has it been having guys like Strus and Niang with their playoff experience, even having Morris and Tristan back on the bench who have shown you toughness? And is that adding to their being a little tough out there?
I think we got more guys that know what to do this time. And then I would say this: it's been a little more physical, but it hadn't been physical yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm expecting.
No, but they haven't cowered, to Bull's point.
No,
last year, as soon as the action got tough, they shrunk. They were out of the building.
But I will say this to Bull's point: they have responded, but. What happens when Orlando? Somebody has to ratchet it up.
Yeah. We haven't seen that.
It hadn't ratcheted up. Because then when it ratchets up, who's going to beat it?
And I don't even know if Boston's that team. The Knicks are that team.
No, I know. This is a little Hardenstein and Hardenstein, whatever he's doing. I mean, they basically punked Philadelphia. I was like, oh my God, Philadelphia. Yeah, they're killing Philadelphia and Philly. They're killing them.
They old school. They remind me of the old school Knicks, like
the 90s.
The Oakley and
And
Smith.
then here.
Well, John Starks was on the baseline.
Melo, all them. Did you see? Have you felt the energy inside the garden?
Oh, unreal.
That's unbelievable.
That's what it used to be like.
That organ is 5 times louder.
Listen. Hey, G. I know that organ well. Like, they go to organ. They go to music.
It's like the cello in Jaws.
Oh my God!
You hear it coming, and the crowd just reacts, and it's over. It's a wrap.
Brad, great to see you.
Man, I appreciate you guys. 500 shows.
500
shows.
shows.
500.
We was sitting up in the studio just like, is this even going to fly? How long are we going to be here?
Stuck with us now. Brad, great to see you.
Good to see you guys. Appreciate you.
And Mikey. I enjoy listening to your, especially your post-game comments on the radio.
I appreciate you.
I thought
I got out the drip, Jay.
Yeah, I know.
It's on dripped out.
But your post-game 1 comments, I thought everything you said was exactly on point. And they're lucky to have your analysis because it's really, really
well, we want to win. I think everybody in this town wants to really win.
That's
right. Absolutely do.
Thanks, Brad.
Yep. All right, guys.
Thank you, Brad. We're going to move on and continue our 500-so celebration after a quick word from FanDuel. It is playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball is in full
Cleveland
swing.
sports fans.
And
are you tired of missing out on exclusive content and behind-the-scenes?
FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. You can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs and slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Can't believe I'm disappointed Tyvis wasn't here for that director Steve blunder just now.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, I know. Well, Tyvis is going to make an appearance in a different way in a sec. We're going to welcome Mike Polk onto the show in about 15 minutes. So in anticipation and a lead-up to Mike Polk joining the show, we're going to look back at our 5 funniest moments in UCSS.
5 funniest.
Little top 5. This is the 5 funniest moments. We got the clips. We're going to relive some of our absolute favorites. And it starts
see who you pick
with a clip involving Tyvis and Bull. Steve, take 248 when you're ready. This is number 5.
Number 5.
In our 5 funniest moments in UCSS history.
Listen, I was out at the grocery store, and this lady walked up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're that guy who played that coach in that famous high school."
Yeah, she's just a racist. She thinks all black people look alike. Come on now. What you look nothing like him.
Hey, bro, you didn't stop the trade.
And by the way, he's 40 years older than you.
Wow, what's Denzel doing in the Trader Joe's in Columbus? What are the odds?
He's 40 years older than you.
Come on now, you know that you probably was the only brother in the store. You was Denzel Washington. You was Jay-Z.
Michael Jordan.
You see,
what are you doing here, man?
Listen, me and my brother, we almost got the same beard.
Is that Jesse Smollett?
Faking them attacks.
That was a
We
good
should end the show there. We should just end the show right there.
Bull is down.
Bull's down.
Bull's down.
You can't go.
Hey,
Look at those sexy Brooks,
My own
bro. Look at those sexy Brooks right now. Getting some airtime.
It's an N1 mixtape. When somebody get a move off, throw the ball in the stands. We gotta go.
Oh, Bull down. Bull down. The best part of that is Bull just cracked himself up.
Like
He was rolling
I
on the
cracked him
floor
in my own
on his
joke.
own
It's his
joke.
own joint.
But it was funny.
It's his own, like when you get a highlight and your joint, that's your own joke, and it just tickle you to your soul.
Yeah.
That really means like you really felt that was the highest of all
I mean,
high.
does anybody think Denzel Washington looks like Tyvus
Not
Powell?
at all.
Or
Tyvus
Tyvus
does.
looks like Denzel?
Nothing.
I don't
Stop.
see it either, but in Tyvus's mind,
Yeah.
he is Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
He's made that reference.
I mean, don't we
a
all
number of
want to be
times.
Denzel Washington?
Hell yeah, who wouldn't?
Hey man, that's kind of wild.
I think I look more like Denzel Washington.
Well, I'm Brad Pitt then.
So
Like,
just so the
like,
people
what?
know, to compile these lists, everyone in the production team voted. We put together, we talked about it. So this was not just my opinion. This was a production team and EP Steve.
So it was the aggregate vote wins.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So number 4, this has gotten a lot of run on UCSS, and I wasn't sure exactly if one moment made this thing so funny, but the overall amount of laughs this clip has given us definitely makes it worthy of the number 4 spot. Steve?
All right.
And Tyvus, you got some explaining to do, bro.
Oh, my God. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Wasn't even his driver.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
It gets better. Hold on.
Can I tell my story?
You missed the ball and threw your club.
Oh, so let me tell you the story.
Oh, so you were the celebrity that just hit the tee shot with all the
Yeah, with everybody that come to that hole,
Okay.
and they have to pay $50.
Right.
So it's like $50 you can with Tyvus to take a hit. So the guy comes up. He was like, I was like, listen, before you pay, I've never played golf before.
How you never play golf?
Cause I'm a football player. I ain't playing no golf. Basketball or baseball. So I'm not playing no golf. No.
Thomas don't do nothing.
No.
Golf, drink,
No.
smoke.
So usually the people that do that on a golf course do drink.
Yeah, right.
Hold on, so let me finish telling the story.
He
So
don't
the guy
do none of that.
something.
So the guy pays the $50 for me to golf. So I said, well, can I borrow your club and can I borrow the ball? He says, sure, go ahead.
No, that's another man's club. That's another man's clubs.
That might be one.
This is so much better than I ever thought it was.
So you bought somebody a driver.
No, it wasn't a driver. It was an 8-iron.
Oh, that was good.
That is all-time swing and a miss.
That was also the day we had Joe Jaravicius and we played Bro vs. Joe, which is
Oh, that
another
was good,
all-time.
That was one of the greatest segments we've ever done.
That was fire.
Bro versus Joe.
That was fire.
That was fantastic.
We done had a lot of good moments, man. Lot of highlights, man.
Yeah.
A lot of laughter in this.
Yes.
This next one comes
3.
from an interview. I don't think I would ever do this segment again, even though it was very funny, because I'm not sure it went over with the interviewee as well as it went over with us. Here's number 3.
Oh, I know.
Steve, let's take number 3.
Okay.
How about just hashtag D's?
Oh yeah.
I get it.
Oh my God.
What are you doing here? It's great.
Yeah, that needed
He's
a proper
laughing. That
setup.
means it's working. All right, 2 more, Coach.
Inappropriate.
Let's take the next one,
Inappropriate.
Steve. How about
Yeah,
hashtag
he
already knew it.
Fuck naked.
This was all-time great.
And this is what a professional. This dude is
Do
known.
you have one of those 5 that is your favorite? Not that you're going to use it, but
I mean, Buck, yeah, is pretty good. I kind of
Buck, yeah, is good.
I like that. That's good.
I'm definitely not using D's.
God, I
These
wish
ain't
you
gonna
would,
make
though.
it. Oh, my God.
I tell you, your status would automatically elevate. I mean, it would be.
You'd be getting 7 or 8 offers from the NFL every year then.
So it needed a little setup. That was Brian Hartline, the Buckeyes
Yeah.
receiver coach. And every time he lands a recruit, which is seemingly every other day, he would just tweet out the hands emoji, the prayer emoji.
Yeah.
And Mike, in one of the most brilliant segments you've ever devised,
Yes.
said, I've got 5 other suggestions that you can hashtag and you can put out, and everyone will know when you do this, you landed a big recruit.
Right.
And D's, I think that's the funniest thing we've ever done on our show.
That's crazy.
Hashtag D's.
Like
that to me, I was done.
And he said this to
But they were all good.
He said this to a former football player and a coach at one of the most historic programs of all time.
Hashtag D.
And you know what the best part about it was? I did have a text exchange with Brian after the segment, and he said he was trying not to laugh, but it
Yeah.
was the funniest damn thing he'd ever seen. But he knew it's not appropriate. You can't,
That makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, no, he enjoyed it. He liked it. But I think it was one of
You ain't got that.
That was
That's
great.
your crowning moment.
You know what's so crazy? Y'all can do all the shows y'all want. They ain't got these moments. I don't know how they let them get that off. Well, I don't know who's co-signed this move, but this is crazy.
I lost it.
I appreciate Steve Becker.
And that's only number 3?
That's 3.
So what are the top 2 here?
So number 2.
I think that should be number 1.
We got to see what number 2 and number 1 are. I don't know.
Number 2 comes from overtime. If you're not a member of
this
is sports show, this is a reason to become a member. We can't always promise moments like this.
Does it need a setup?
I like giving the setup afterwards because I don't want to give it away first. You don't need setup because when you see this, you'll know exactly what it is. Steve?
Funny without context.
I'm telling you, this next picture, this is...
Y'all said, please make sure you explain why I did what I did.
Hey, the internet lives forever. Internet lives forever.
No screenshot.
You have 60 seconds to fill because then we can put this in tag board. You got Phil.
Holiday season.
Holiday season.
Thanksgiving, family is together. You
don't change the language any because it's clean.
Oh, for sure. You got the older generation. The kids are doing their thing.
I remember this.
My older aunt has on one of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show shirts,
which I love. Your aunt wore to Thanksgiving dinner.
I'm proud of my baby. He's doing something with his life, but I can't help but to
love
notice
your grandma already, or your auntie already, without even knowing her.
Jay's face is like all in her titty, man. So
my old face is all over.
It's all over Auntie's. She's just making the mac and cheese, and she's just.
And you're looking at it going, this is really creeping me out right now. Old Jay on my aunt's
This is
chest.
Wild.
That ain't even cool, man. Wow. That ain't even cool. So what does Tyvus decide to do?
So as we're doing a pre-production meeting, Tyvus being Tyvus.
I had to know what it looked like.
No, we got the picture.
I needed a visual of what it looked like.
And he just so happened to be wearing the same shirt that your aunt was wearing for Thanksgiving.
But where did this thing come from? Well, that's what I don't understand. That. Where did it come from?
What did you put under your shirt to simulate
the basketball?
I was trying to see what he was seeing, so I got a basketball.
That's a visual. I'm all over that titty.
That was good.
Oh my God! I'd forgotten all about that.
I'd never seen that before.
I had forgotten all about that moment. But I was trying to picture Earl in the moment, trying not to say he was looking at his aunt's.
That's a little weird that he's looking at his aunt's
he's
boob.
looking at her making the mac and cheese, probably wiggling around. And when the light bulb went off in Earl's head, that Jay is all over that. I don't know how you kept it together in front of your aunt.
I didn't even eat the mac and cheese, Jay. I didn't even eat the mac and cheese, man.
Oh my God!
So that was number 2.
Pool ball in the
This show made it to 500 shows.
Yeah, somehow.
That's the amazing thing.
Somehow. Nobody else has got this kind of insanity.
Oh, you're not getting this anywhere.
No.
And people come here for sports takes, right? And sometimes our sports takes become funny in an
unintended
way. And number 1, and once again, this was a consensus between production. Number 1 was a sports take that broke our guest.
You have an idea to stop it?
Oh.
Yeah, Joe, so I pitched this to Jay Gruden when he came on. Jay Gruden was a big fan of this. Said it might be flagged, but you could be the judge. You give a defensive tackle a knife.
Wait a minute.
I thought you were going to come up with a legitimate strategy.
That's going to be a flag.
Is there a rule in the NFL rule book that says you can't have a knife on the
pencil.
field? I'm just saying.
You're
Think
out of your
about
mind.
it.
You're going to be at Cuyahoga County Jail at the end of the day, man.
Hey, Joe,
I can guarantee you Jason Kelsey's not thrusting forward like that. If the defensive tackle might have a knife and he might not. You just don't know which player has it.
I'm really curious about that play.
He's from Cleveland. He'll be thrusting forward.
Give him a machete.
Now
get
even better, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, machete. Just kill the whole other team. There you go.
There you go.
And you stop them. Speaking of which, I think about this, Joe, as a former offensive lineman. I know you're on the outside as a tackle, whereas we all try to regroup from Mike's insanity.
I can't believe he said that.
But
You talk about a rash of injuries,
Just give him
Joe.
a knife. Stab him.
UCSS does not promote violence. I just want the world to know that.
Jason Kelsey on the injury report, stab wound. He's questionable.
Oh my
Jason
God.
Kelsey would probably play with a stab wound.
We know what Mike's airline to be Friday.
Hey,
Aaron Donald.
yeah, right. Hey, Joe, when you get,
He was done.
yeah,
He was cooked.
and how about me trying to be
Joe, you created. I know.
That's
You
right.
gave him the damn
He's
nickname.
like,
Yeah,
nah, that
that's true.
stab game is not coming back.
Joe,
Sorry.
That's why
when
Joe's my guy.
Didn't he at one point call you Mikey McMurder?
That was like 5 minutes later
Yeah,
as he
yeah,
was
yeah.
going by. Earl called me Mikey McMurder
Okay.
and then broke Joe again. So
those were all good, but I would not have had that one number one.
I still think D's is the
D's?
best moment in our
I
show.
thought that of the five, I thought that was the least funny of the five. They were all funny, but I would have had that last.
I did like Joe's reaction. Joe was done.
Joe was.
Yeah,
I
that
wasn't
Joe's
funny
reaction
there.
was
Joe was
good,
funny
yeah,
there.
yeah.
That was
he
a
needed a
laugh at
standing
Joe.
8 count the rest of the segment.
Yeah, he really did not recover.
No, he did
Did
not.
not. We should have asked him if he's implementing that strategy in Germany. Now.
Yeah,
If
have you
the
thought
Munich
about using
Ravens
it?
What?
are on
I feel like there are
strategy-
some really funny moments that missed the cut there, Mike.
What do you
was
have? Do you have
something
any
we left
honorable
out?
mentions?
We did because we have Polk. We'll make these quick if you guys want to get Polk set up. But we cut a little clip from the stand-up show as honorable mention. Maybe we'll do this in overtime if we get time at the end. But
Okay.
we got to keep this moving.
Okay.
We had that. What are some other suggestions we had? Bull, what do you think we missed? It also is very hard to
I
find
thought Bull
specific
throwing
clips.
up.
Yeah,
although,
I was expecting that one
like
to be
that
on there.
was
That's coming.
That's probably.
You're-
Oh, that's
you're
on
not-
another
you're not
list.
talking
Yeah.
about
Oh, you got
today's
another
show.
for
list?
me, and let's just take out of the equation the fact that Bull was really sick. Like
Yeah,
Bull
but
wasn't
it was
going to come in
funny,
that day.
though,
It was
right.
the very first Browns game
Right.
that we had ever covered.
Yes.
in the show.
Yeah.
And Baker had led Carolina to a late touchdown
Right.
and go ahead, and Bull was like apoplectic because we were live streaming.
Yeah, right.
And then afterwards, we hit the 62-yard field goal or whatever it was to win.
Right.
And Bull's doing, "Take that, Baker, you suck." And then the next day, he was going to call in sick because he wasn't feeling well.
I had vertigo.
Yes, which I think was
I
self-induced.
should not have been driving.
I think it was all self-induced based on your array of emotions in the live Brown stream. He went from, "Oh my God, my biggest enemy just stuck a stake in our heart,"
Right.
to Baker losing, and it was just this wild ebb and flow. But the Bengals that opening day had lost to the Steelers, and we hadn't talked about the Bengals. And the first time the Bengals were mentioned, Bull leans over the side of his chair,
it up,
and
yeah.
I thought he was faking like he was going to
Jay,
blow up.
it's coming.
It's coming
Okay.
later.
It's coming.
By the way, here's one that I don't remember. For some reason, this stands out with me. I don't know how much we were laughing when it happened, but this was way early when G. Bush answered his phone from like a telemarketer.
Oh, that was fantastic.
We did get that.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
That was
I forgot
that
about
was a
that.
hilarious moment.
I forget that was
Well,
wild.
wasn't it a bill collector?
It was.
Oh, yeah,
it
bill
was
collector,
a bill
right, right.
collector.
Yeah.
And you started going into this routine about.
It was like he planned
Can I
it.
add my two? I got two different companies gave me credit scores. Can I add them together? Because that was hilarious.
I mean, it felt scripted. That's how good it was.
It was a real, genuine, authentic moment.
And
We looked for that
I was
one.
poor back then, and I really was like,
They were really
that
after you
was
like that.
really like they was
Yeah.
like 2-3 weeks late. Yeah, that was a
Trying to
fact.
find some of those things that aren't labeled
I
specifically
know.
is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Because you don't know
500
which of the
episodes.
500 shows that happened.
Some of the funniest moments in the history of the show were like little one-liners and just
Yeah,
where we
just
cracked up. There's
stupid.
another one. I don't know if I should mention it,
I know
but
you're talking about with a certain guest. And
we had a
certain
guest and I just
Yes.
couldn't stop laughing, and then Jake
Yeah.
couldn't stop
Oh,
laughing.
Oh,
yeah.
it was crazy.
Oh, I remember
that was
that one.
wild. That was
Yeah.
wild. That was wild. I think McNuggets gave us a stern talking
he was
to.
mad.
He was,
Well,
he was
I
pissed.
didn't realize in the moment what you were laughing at. I thought
Yeah.
you were laughing at said guest.
We
And
thought-
I-
yeah,
right.
Have a little
Yeah.
respect.
Even though it was easy, it would have been
Yeah, sure.
understandable if we were, but
Yeah.
we weren't.
Let me
Well, how
go
about the
read
Joe
it here.
Charbonneau broken?
Joe Charbonneau
So we had
broke our set.
Joe was in the conversation, but we decided to omit that for
Yeah,
other
yeah, all right.
reasons.
Right.
Yeah, didn't
Hey,
necessarily
Mike
want
Polk
that.
drank out of a sausage or something crazy.
That was
hot
more
dog,
nasty
right.
than
That's
funny.
exactly
That was
right.
disgusting.
Speaking of Mike Polk,
Pause.
Mike Polk
Speaking
is
of
in
which,
the building. We're gonna
It's the
bring
hot
him out.
dog
Let me get a
drinker
read in.
himself.
Let me get a read in here. eBay Motors is sponsored this segment by Mike Polk. Passion, drive, and patience. That's the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for, and with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins, so keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. And with that, we are thrilled to be joined by Mr. Mike Polk.
There he is.
Man, good to have Mike back on the set.
Appreciate it, you guys. And I just got to say, Anthony just mic'd me up, and he's gotten really good at it. It took a long time. I remember
2 years.
The first couple months, he was a mess. He was like a
it
high
was
school
a
kid
disaster.
trying to get a bra off a woman.
That's
Was it good for you?
Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
figure the bra out
Waking up?
next.
That's kind of tricky though. I'll still be tripping on that. I'm like, bro, this
Oh,
got
I know.
10
It's hard
straps,
taking off
like,
that
They'll throw you curveballs.
By the way, guys, another of our top funny moments that I just thought of when Mike sat down was when we did Browns quarterback or car mechanic.
That was one of the greatest games ever.
You guys, I love going down memory lane like this. You know I do. And first and foremost, obviously, congratulations. 500 episodes. Very impressive.
Crazy.
Awesome. Fun. But I'm here to do something serious at the top. Wish it wasn't about this. Wish I could just be here celebrating. But I'm actually here with a powerful message that I am supposed to share with you guys. Could we take a look at it, Mikey?
Wow.
Thank you.
Serious Mike Polk.
The following is a special message for UCSS from Orlando Magic power forward Mo Vagner.
Oh, well, hello to you, the hosts of Ultimate Cleveland Sports Time. It's me, Mo Vagner, the Berlin bad boy, Cleveland's worst nightmare. I'm the sometimes kind of good, smack-talking big man you love to hate. And while it is kind of true that the Cavaliers have stooped us pretty good the last 2 games, that will not happen again! And I, Mo Vagner, will stop them.
And I, Franz Wagner, will be helping him.
Right. My brother Franz is going to be helping. You're doing great. Go ahead, buddy. I'm doing something.
Over here?
Yep. Thank you, Franz. So, the word on the Autobahn is that you schlubby hosts of the Maximum Cleveland Sports Trivia Show have been talking the smack about Mo Vagner on your satellite radio program. Now, I know that you are all just angry because of all of the dominating of you I've been doing over the last 2 games with the dunking. Even though we are down 24, I'm screaming. But then I heard that you Yankee Doodle pansies are having your 500th
Yankee Doodle
episode
pansies.
of your computer show. I have to admit, this is very impressive, especially because this show stinks so bad. Wagner burn! I am just busting your beanbags. Congratulations, Ultimate Cold Pizza Show. Enjoy a special day today, boys, because the forecast for Game 3 in Orlando tomorrow is partly sunny with a 100% chance of pain. Right, Franz?
Welcome to the Magic Kingdom.
What's happening? The
Who
magic
is that?
It's my friend Aaron.
Where we live.
It's not scary. So we have to start though.
This has been a special message from Orlando power forward.
That was so effing funny.
Oh my God!
Ultimate cold pizza. That's crazy. That's
I
wild.
hate being the bed. What did you guys do to him? What did you guys do? Have you guys really been giving him the business?
Oh, yeah, we have been hard on him.
Well, that makes sense then.
I was laughing so hard that during that segment, my jaw hurts right now.
My head hurts right now.
He just ran up to me in the middle of the street. He handed me a DVD with that on it, and he told me to go and show it to you guys.
Who was Mo's brother?
That's just I have some brother. I don't
Bro.
know. I don't know his whole
By the way,
life.
no offense to your friend, but he's an odd-looking dude.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, doesn't look like an NBA player.
No.
You have a face for skits.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
That was fantastic.
I
Oh
love
my
the
God.
German accent.
We have obviously a lot to talk about before I go in 4 minutes, but I think we were going to start off with a conversation starter. Are we doing that now?
Yeah, we can.
All right,
So,
let's just do it.
my God.
I talked to Polk yesterday. We had a couple ideas, and one of the things we came up with was he did a piece for Channel 3, which we're going to play in a sec, about the white face mask the Browns have adapted. And we're
Good
talking
time
about
for a
some
bathroom
that was
break.
great, by the
Clevelanders
way.
love that may not be super consequential in the big picture. So,
Right.
Steve, let's take We heard from Mo Vagner. This
Yeah.
is now Mike Polk. Very different people.
Yes.
Well, by now you've seen the video that rocked Browns fan nation. Yesterday on social media, the team announced that a new era of Browns football returns. The post included a slickly produced hype video with a hardcore music track that makes it sound like The Undertaker is about to enter the ring at SummerSlam, all building up to the big reveal that the Browns' face masks will be white this season. Now, some might consider this level of hype a skosh extra, considering the relative banality of the announcement. But for many Browns fans, this was a true revelation, and they responded with a lot of positivity. There's a large contingent of fans that has always been keenly interested in every change to the team's aesthetic, no matter how minor, and I don't begrudge them that. But my personal response upon hearing the news was, wait, what color were the face masks last year? Brown. It turns out they were brown. They were white for a long time, then they switched to gray for a while, then brown for a few years, and now we're back to white. What a roller coaster ride, am I right, folks? Now, I long ago stopped judging people for what they personally get excited about as long as nobody's getting hurt. For example, there's an infamous hip-hop duo out of Detroit called the Insane Clown Posse that's been producing what is, in my opinion, some of the most remarkably unlistenable music, and yet they have an enormous fan base who refer to themselves as juggalos, and these folks seem to have a blast at the concerts where they traditionally spray each other with Faygo soda. Now, to me, that sounds truly awful, but it doesn't confuse me because I just accept that it's something that's not my thing. That's what makes the fan fervor over the white face masks more difficult for me to process. The Browns are my thing. So whenever something like this happens that seems to get everybody excited except me, I feel kind of left out of the party. Why can't I care when they make the face masks whiter or the helmets oranger? Why can't I get mad for some reason when they choose to wear the brown pants, which are apparently the bad ones? Am I not a real fan? I do get excited for my team at what I consider to be the appropriate times. For example, I certainly remember September 20th, 2018. Browns were down 14 to the Jets at home when rookie QB Baker Mayfield enters the game to replace Tyrod Taylor, or Tyrod if you're nasty. Baker orchestrates a 21-17 comeback win, and I thought the stadium was going to explode. And though I can still recall that moment vividly, for the life of me, I couldn't possibly tell you what color our face masks were that day. And they could have been wearing cut-off jean shorts for all I know. But Browns Nation, you are not a monolith. We contain multitudes. There's plenty of room in this club for people who have strong opinions on the color rush uniforms, whatever those are. And there are those of us who couldn't possibly care less. And no matter which brand of fan you are, stories like this are stark reminders that the NFL draft can't possibly arrive soon enough because we are clearly in desperate need for football news. This is Mike Polk, trying to make sense of my own people for 3 News.
Did this place blow up the day that the white face masks dropped?
What I love about that is we have both ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't know what the uniforms are and couldn't care less. G. Bush has a shrine at his house with all of the university.
I know.
I'm with Mike.
Changes.
I don't really care.
I got to.
I'm with you guys. I don't really care either.
There really doesn't seem to be too many camps in between, though. Like, there's people who are just
like everything else.
People either care too much or they don't care enough.
You know what? I think shoe culture might have done it to us, too, to a degree. Shoe culture.
You think?
Yeah, I do. I think that has a lot to do with it. But it is something that a lot of Clevelanders care about. So Mikey suggested we do a list of other things that Clevelanders care about that don't make a lot of sense.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So, Polk, we made yours. You didn't send me an order, so I just
it doesn't really matter.
I went 5 through 1 with how you sent it to me.
Okay.
So number 5, according to Mike Polk, things Cleveland loves that other people don't care about.
Definitely.
Oh, God, that is so true.
Wearing city promotion T-shirts.
It is
right.
something.
Unlike any city in the country.
Strange, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that we feel the need to remind everybody that we like being here constantly by wearing it on our chests.
Yeah.
Is that a sign of weakness or strength?
I think it's a sign of insecurity.
Trauma.
I think trauma is a better move.
I mean, we have to remind people that we're great.
And
That,
ourselves,
to me, is
too,
insecurity.
based on how we were ridiculed in the past. So I'll accept it, but it is a uniquely Cleveland thing.
It is. The T-shirt industry in Cleveland is a $10 trillion a year.
It is.
industry. A lot of people
Holding
don't know that.
holding this place together. What's the next one, Mikey?
Number 4,
Bubble.
taking pictures of the Cleveland skyline.
So a lot of I see about a million on a day as if it's going to shift or as if somebody's going to get the perfect one nobody's gotten yet. Do you see that a lot or not?
I do, and here's the crazy thing, Mike. Our skyline is kind of pathetic.
Yeah, it's not great.
I mean, it dwarfs Toledo's.
Exactly.
But when you go to New York, L.A., Houston,
Chicago.
Dallas, Chicago, I mean, those are skylines.
Yeah.
San Francisco, we've got like 3 tall buildings.
Yeah.
We're going to have a fourth
Well,
one,
there's a fourth one going
Yeah,
up.
Sherwin-Williams is in
on
the
all the
process.
pictures above all of those girls' apartments, like over their fireplace, are going to be ruined. Those silhouettes.
Oh, yeah,
because
you're
they have to
right.
go paint.
They're gonna have to Photoshop it in.
I'm going to get a job where I just paint those onto people's.
Especially at that angle. That bridge angle is, there's thousands of those.
Yeah, yeah.
People love that
little
Yeah.
angle.
All right, what else do people love? Mikey?
Number 3, and this one's personal in the UCSS realm. East side.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I've never lived really anywhere else. I'll die here. Is it in other cities? Are people this mad? I mean, I know Chicago has their thing, but it seems like a totally different north-south
In
thing.
New
Obviously,
York, there's a borough pride, but there's 5 of them.
But here it's weird. Like, and when I moved here, I had to get used to this. It was like people from one side. Many people don't ever go to the other side.
And there's a disparaging that goes on. They're like, West Sider, what, or East Side. My God, you guys get like 150 inches of snow a year.
Although that graphic was inappropriate because Anthony does not live on the West Side.
Oh yeah, he's a Southie.
Does Parma not count as the West Side?
Parma's not West Side.
No West
Well,
Side.
the thing is,
you're
though,
your
we
own
don't
thing.
have-
This is awkward.
Cleveland oddly doesn't have what they call a South Side because the North Side is the lake.
Yeah.
Right.
So it really is weird that we just divided East and West.
Put in bay, and we hate each other for it. Next one, Mikey.
Number 2, patio drinking as early and late into the season.
Yeah, you will see people out. You'll see people out early, like when it's too cold.
The diehards.
Yeah, and they'll be mad. The patio's not out. It's December.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there could be 18 burners, those little propane gas burners.
Right. Yeah.
And they're uncomfortable, but they're going to drink outside.
Yeah,
That's all there's to it.
When I moved here, like when I was living in New York, we never went to bars to eat. You just went to restaurants, like the bars. You just went to drink.
No, in Cleveland.
Here, all the bar, and I like it because I like bar food.
Yeah, I do too.
But I had to get used to the fact that people were always shocked when I wouldn't order a drink because, like, you're not ordering a drink.
It's insulting. Yeah, people get insulted. It's more like they see. It's an indictment of them if you don't get a drink while you're with them. They're like, "What do you think I am?
Yeah.
I could not if I wanted to, but I just chose not to." That's really what they're saying. All right, last one, Mikey. What is it?
Last one. Cleveland toughness, and he put in parentheses, no dome, winter football, and Polish boy sandwiches.
Essentially, we celebrate punishing ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't just celebrate it, but we see it as like a rite of passage, or we see it as like an indication of whether or not we're true Clevelanders. You've got to be out there for a Browns game in the elements without a dome, and if you're not miserable and you're not taking it, then what are you, some kind of pansy?
Yeah, you're soft.
Right? Our sandwich, which I brought up, is my other perfect example, is the Polish boy, which is one of the more repulsive creations that's ever been conceived of. And I've never seen out just in the wild outside of Cleveland because nobody's even interested in touching our native sandwich.
It is pretty bad.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to the teams, I feel like a lot of older fans are like, those young fans haven't suffered.
Yeah, that's it.
They haven't felt the pain that I've felt.
It takes suffering for a lot of people to be real to people. So. Those are
a great
what
list.
I found. Yeah, thank you.
It's a wonderful list.
Oh, guys, before I go, I got a couple. I went in my attic, and I found a couple things last night that I wanted to share with you. Just
There's a lot of things
congratulations!
in that attic that
It's a
you
fun
can't
attic,
share,
you
too.
know that.
Yeah.
I tried to think of everybody. First of all, I got each of you one of these party cannons. And I don't know how they work. I got them at Mark's. They're $1.99. I think they spray all over the place, so it's Anthony's problem.
We should all find out together.
How do these work?
So you guys can do it
at the show.
if you want to do it at the end. I don't know. I'd rather not be in the room when you do them.
You grab the bottom and twist.
And then individually,
Pause.
I found this in there, Bull.
Dang, bro.
Bull, I found this.
Yeah!
Now, that's the Bull shirt. You got this for the softball
jerseys.
team.
Yeah.
Apparently, you were on the other team at one point or something. And
I
you
don't know
swapped.
what happened.
Well, now you've got
Thank
an
you.
extra. Now you belong to both teams.
Thank you.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Now
We got
a winning
screwed.
team jersey. We
got screwed
Don't get
on the
started,
rosters.
Mike, don't
that's
I
get
want
true.
better rosters.
I also found this Antoine Jameson bobblehead. Take it or leave it. I found this. I found this ball in a cup thing. It seemed like something you can have an hour.
that's
exactly.
absolutely up my
Is that not totally up Jay's alley?
Yeah.
It's a competition.
Get ready for this sound for the next 10 years.
And he's not kidding.
And then I just got you a big sack of
First
fake
try,
money.
Mike.
Oh, there it is.
Just throw it around. You know what I mean? Like hold it, throw it around.
She's got the bag.
Make it rain, G. Make it rain right now. Make it rain on the show. First
And then
time ever.
This is
Hold
for
on.
and finally.
No, you got to do the.
Oh, we got.
Yeah, do it. Go ahead.
It's stuck together. It's like sticky.
Oh, it's from Amazon.
Okay. It's still sticky. Hold on.
Oh, you doing it? Is it happening?
Well, don't do it.
No, we're going to do it at the end.
Yeah. And then this whoopee cushion's for all of you, and I expect you to put it to good use.
Yes.
I mean that, you guys. This is important to me.
Surprise our guests.
Yeah, surprise your guests.
Especially an older guest. Like, that would have been good for when Chuck Kyle sat down.
Oh, yeah, there. That was good. That was
pretty
time.
good.
Charbonneau.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mike, do you want to stick around for the 5 most iconic moments in show history?
Yes.
You know
Not in a
that I would
rush.
love to.
Yes.
But I have to turn a story about the West Side Market in about an hour and a half.
Oh, stick around. 5 minutes.
Assignment today.
And coming to the stage, Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Make a rain.
Coming to the stage,
No problem, guys. Appreciate it.
Those really look.
When are we
other than
playing
the
the
fact that
softball
they're
game again?
smaller
We
than
doing it
a
this
dollar.
It's happening. It's happening.
All right,
It
guys,
really
we're gonna
is.
do our top 5 moments after a quick word from
Jay, I
Sorry,
think
guys.
you got to make. You and I should make the teams.
We know
I
Polk
agree.
is a competitive person, and that's why he plays
Mike,
Monopoly
thanks.
Go.
I'm
He's
sorry.
one of over 150 million people to download the app. It's a great twist on regular Monopoly, where you play on not one but hundreds of different Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big-time money. The best part, it's messing with his friends. Polk can charge him rent on iconic properties just like classic Monopoly. He can also rob their vaults of riches for himself, and the leaderboards show Polk who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. It's not just his competitive side that loves it. You can team up with friends and people all around the world in time tournaments to earn huge rewards. So get it on the game. Join your friends. Download Monopoly Go now, free on the App Store or the Google Play Store for more information.
Well, Polk's soda just spilled, so that
It was a party
section
gift.
of the carpet
It's
is
a parting gift.
a
All right,
mess.
well, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
We have 11 minutes to go. We may go a little on beyond 1 o'clock because
Yeah.
we got to show these
No
clips.
overtime today, just going extra.
If we
I'm
go
down
extra,
for
no
that.
overtime.
A little free
These are-
content.
Yes.
This is important to clarify, Jay. It's hard to quantify best because best could be funniest, most ridiculous.
Sure.
So we tried to find the 5 most significant moments in UCSS history. 5 moments from the show's 500 episodes that really embody what we've done and show how far we've come. We do have an honorable mention, though. And none of you guys except G were here this day.
Okay.
We had DeAnthony Bell in studio. The first current Browns player, active Browns player to come in studio, hang out with us. He hung out for an hour.
How'd that go?
He was phenomenal. And here's a little clip from that interview.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Steve, it is 262, just like I told you.
Wow. Sarcastic McNuggets.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, nah, you tripping?
Let me see.
Yeah, I'm way stuck with that.
Let me see. Let me.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we finna.
He definitely got it.
Yeah, he do. He
Let me see.
do.
He
Come
pulled
on,
him out
but
quickly.
Look,
Let
now.
me see. Oh no, that's not
It's
too
all the way
bad.
together, yeah.
That's not too bad. The bag is crazy though. Is that a
Look,
Louis
see,
Vuitton
see,
bag?
you see how they judge. It's all about the
Talk about
accessories.
DTR's outfit.
That's crazy. They pleaded a little bit.
I'm gonna
too.
tell him though. I'm gonna tell him.
Let him know.
I'm about to.
DTR.
Tell him to pull up.
Tell him. Pull him. I'm gonna tell him you still cuffing your pants. I'm gonna tell him that now. Hey, remember I'm from Georgia now. Hey. I'm gonna tell him you still got cuffs in the back of your pants. Cause don't nobody cuff pants no more. That's all I'm saying.
We invite these Browns players up here.
That's all I'm saying though.
Hold on, you ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, my boy, though.
That's the last Browns player we had in the studio.
Don't do that.
Now
Come
look
on,
at
G. I got you.
Look at here though. Okay, all right.
Hey, I ain't like that.
Wow. And that's the reason we've only had one Browns player.
No,
live in
he had a
studio.
blast. That was the best.
yo.
That was the best he could have done.
Yo, listen, shout out to that man. He was quick with it. I love that interview because I felt like I was back in the street. Like I was like, man, you know how you like he wouldn't let his boy die. I got his boy. I said DTR was up here looking crazy. He was like, okay, yeah, but what about them jeans right there? And I was like, wow. I was scarred from that. I went home and spent all my rent money on designer jeans. I wasn't having that no more. I want my wife, she'd be talking about, we got rent due. No, we don't. We don't got, no, we need these, listen, Ferragamo jeans. That's what I'm talking about.
He was like Chris Tucker and Friday over there.
He was, bro.
Yeah.
This cat had
Bringing it.
He had beads in the hair and everything. Shout out to them beads.
Hey, Jay, it's actually the total opposite of what you thought, man. I thought that was, if you go back and read the comments, a lot of people felt like that was the best interview we ever had on the show.
Wow.
A lot of people felt like that was the most comfortable we've ever seen an athlete interact with people in the media. And, like, just texting him after the fact, that dude had a lot of fun. And he showed it to his teammates, too.
Yeah,
so
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. When you can make an athlete, because they all come in with a guard up.
Sure.
All of them. It's just, they're naturally, it's an adversarial relationship, media and athlete. When you can get them to completely drop that guard and be who they are, that's how you know you've
Get the
done a good interview.
I had to throw them jeans away.
And got rid of them, huh?
Yeah, and by the way, I told him, don't make me plant something in your car, bro.
I will plant evidence. DeAnthony Bell. Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, a officer. DeAnthony Bell. He has the black Charger. Yeah, the black with the tinted windows, the black paint on his windows. Get him.
If my fingerprints are on it, it's only because he gave me a ride in it. I didn't do anything else.
I was threatened too. I was threatened.
So let's get to our top 5. These are the 5 most significant moments.
Oh, most significant.
So it's
Iconic?
best, most significant. It's impossible to encapsulate best, so we tried to find the 5 most significant moments. DeAnthony was an honorable mention as a current player coming in, hanging out for an hour. He was only scheduled to be in for 20. He wanted to stick around.
That's great.
So that's significant. This next one doesn't have sound. We just have the video from it. But it was the day we got to go to Progressive Field and throw out the first pitch. Jay?
Okay.
I still think it was a tiny bit high. You say it was a strike?
Total strike.
But this was the first time on a big platform in front of a massive audience UCSS got a chance to show what we could do.
Yeah, that was a big moment. It was. It was not high. It was a perfect strike.
Yeah, it's been debated. It's been
It
much
has
debated.
been debated ad nauseum. But, I mean, he caught it just above his head, but he's squatting. So, as long as the hitter was 6 foot or taller, it was absolute top of the zone strike.
And then right after that, that's where
that was a fun day.
That elbow. That's where it all started, Jay.
No,
you had too
I
much
didn't throw it
mustard
hard enough
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Big progress, though. Tuesday, I threw 75 throws and brought a little bit of gas, and the elbow feels great. So.
Shut up. That's what it's up.
Season starting soon?
Season starts. We're going to play May 5th exhibition, and then the following weekend, it's a go.
Ain't y'all in the Goodwill Games or the Pan America
We are
or something?
in the Pan Am Games. The team that won the National World Series. Getting the band back together.
Damn.
We're going for that world title.
Hey, man, shout out to, listen, now, you didn't get Ice Cube. We didn't put y'all in the Big 3 or something.
Yeah,
We
hey,
told something.
I've done a little
The
work
Big
with
Nine.
Ice Cube in the Big 3.
Nine.
The Big 9. Bunch of old dudes out there balling. All right, what's number 4?
So that was 5. Number 4 is something we did that Tegna has never done before.
We've done
And
a lot
it was
of that.
with a special guest in studio, and it's something we have yet to do since. Steve?
Oh,
I'm going to let DeQuell give the toast because he's the guest and it's his scotch.
I want to say, thank you guys for embracing me.
banned?
Thank you for the Cleveland community. And you know what? This show is going to be one that it sticks around for a very long time, and I appreciate
That's
the love.
all. Here, buddy.
Yes. Cheers.
You can't do this on the radio.
Apparently we can't do it on our show anymore.
And
There's no pinch,
And
no
apparently,
bite.
where did that
Very
shirt
good.
go?
Very good.
I don't even drink it all because
That's
I
very
usually
good.
like alcohol. But
Stop
that was
playing
really
around.
good.
Y'all ain't no professional drinkers. Y'all better go
That's
get
very
it.
good.
I missed the Quell.
We're taking a break. DeQuell,
The show's only going to get better.
a million thanks. Yeah, you don't want to miss the next hour, trust me. DeQuell, thanks,
She's
man.
going to be naked
Great
by
to
the end of the
see you.
show.
More of the
And I
Cleveland
couldn't
Sports
see.
Show,
Can I
and
see
who knows
back
where it's
then?
going
No.
from here.
Like,
Why
damn.
was it back?
Like, I lost that shirt. I obviously had better vision. I had no glasses on. That was, dang, that must have been like,
I remember a couple days you lost your glasses.
Yeah,
and
like-
you came in and you were like, I can't see anything.
I was like, I couldn't see nothing, bro. I was
Was
like,
that our very first show? Or no?
No, but that was pre-Earl. If you remember, Brianna was in that.
I saw
The
Brianna
lighting
in
was
the
terrible. We hadn't fixed the lighting yet.
Yes.
That was from June 17th, 2022.
Okay, so we were about a month
A
old.
month and change in, yeah.
Is that activity been banned from the UCSS? No more drinking on the show?
we could do it. We just haven't. I mean, I chug champagne.
Well, hell, if
after
we're ever
the
going to
40
do it, I see the bottle right over there.
Yeah.
This is
For
show
our 2-year
500.
well, that bottle is for DeQuell.
It is.
He has
He's
to
still
come back.
coming to get it. Maybe we'll do something else, but for our 2-year anniversary on May 9th, we'll pour up another shot. But
Very
we have
good.
not
we got
taken
another
a shot.
anniversary, huh?
2 years on May 9th.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. We alluded to this earlier. It is the number 1 moment in UCS history, but
No doubt.
in terms of significance, I'm not sure it trumps the next 2. This is bull.
You don't see this on other shows either.
No.
Nah.
Steve?
Nah.
They
Top 2 or 3
did
backs.
give him 25.
Look at
That's
him.
what happens in 25, 30 times. That's what
It's
happens.
gonna be a long. It's gonna be a long year. for
Out
the
here, I
Cowboys.
said the Cowboys playing with was it Noah Brown from Ohio State. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't even see him in Columbus.
Yeah,
I was like, who is this dude?
And it worked out nicely for the Browns that actually the Steelers won the game.
That had to kill you, didn't it? Here comes the barf bag.
Here it
So,
comes.
Bull, yesterday, I meant to ask
need
you
a
this
break.
Friday.
I like, no.
I meant to ask you this Friday. I'm so
Get
mad.
off that. He don't like that shirt at all. Yeah, he get off of that.
Oh, no.
Oh, I felt.
Oh no, Jake's like, oh no.
God, I was so sick,
bro. I seen it in your face when you tried to say something.
Yeah.
That salami sandwich that you ate earlier was right up in your throat.
No, I hadn't eaten anything.
It was liquid right here. You know when you get that liquid right here, you trying to fight it.
Was the reach?
I'm like halfway through my sentence. I'm like, oh.
All you heard was like.
Let me tell you something. I get vertigo about, on average, once a year. I actually have not had it since then.
Oh, wow.
That's the last time I got it. But for the last 5 or 6 years, I've gotten it once a year. I get it.
And it is terrible.
It's awful.
That was crazy.
I knew it was coming that morning, and I should not have come to
Because you called
work.
in originally.
I called in.
And I was surprised when we came in that you were here.
That was really, I think that's the only time I've ever called in sick. Right, Mike?
So he told me in the morning, he's like, I can't come in. And then at literally 10:15, right before I did the morning call with you guys, he calls me back and goes, I can't let Jay dance on my grave.
Yep.
And he came in, and if you play the clip again, we'll show it later, but you could see him lean over at first, and the T-Rex arms, it's just not,
That's
not there.
my favorite part is the
It's
reach.
so good.
I thought I was going to be able to make it through 2 hours and then just go pass out, but it didn't.
No.
It didn't last.
And then the fact that didn't nobody know what was going on. We
Right.
thought they was lying.
I thought he was faking.
And
I 1,000% thought that it was the first mention of your Bengals. So
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be like, oh, the Bengals.
Because they had a brutal loss.
They did. They lost their opener to the Steelers, and he wasn't kidding.
Jay was like, oh no.
Are we going to play that one again?
Do we want to play that one again?
I think we need
Steve,
to.
can we play that one more time?
Yeah,
and
I
then we'll
think
move
it's-
on to 2 and 1.
I remember
as
when
we
I went
wrap up.
upstairs, it was the talk of the newsroom.
They did.
He was hurt right here.
Yeah.
He was hurt right there.
He needs a standing 8 count.
He was hurt there.
He needs a standing 8
I mean, I
count.
looked like I had a stroke right there. I mean, it was bizarre.
I didn't even see him in Columbus.
Yeah,
I'm like, who is this dude?
And it worked out
I
nicely
love
for the
that.
Browns.
I'm gonna
That
need
actually,
him.
the
I'm
Steelers
gonna
won
need him
the
home.
game.
He's like Steelers
That'll
won.
kill you,
Yeah.
Here comes the barf bag.
Here it comes.
So, Bull, yesterday, and I meant to
I
ask
need
you
a
this
break.
Friday.
I
meant to ask you this Friday. I'm so
Get
mad.
off that.
He don't like Baker at all.
Yeah, he
Get off of that.
I love Brad. Brad's like, oh no, get off that camera. Get off of that. And Steve was locked in. He's like, I ain't touching anything on this switcher. We are seeing this. This is TV history.
Oh my God.
Speaking of TV history,
Get off of that, Brad.
number 2, guys. Number 2. We started this show with just an idea. This had not been done before. Tegna had never done it.
Right.
When we launched, we were just a little YouTube show. And then on September 15th of 2023, we went from being a little YouTube show to a network caliber TV show. So UCSS making the jump from YouTube to Channel 3
That was big.
was the number 2 most significant moment in the history of this show. Steve?
Booyah!
And hello and welcome to a very big day for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We have been around since May of last year as a stream show on YouTube and on the WKYC Plus app. But today we are making our Cleveland broadcast debut on Channel 3. We will be here every Friday from 12:30 to 1 throughout the football season. And coming up, I'm Jay Crawford. We're all going to tell you what we're giving Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson for his 28th birthday. Bull?
Jay, right now I'm going to tell everybody out there, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you've never seen us before, this is going to be a treat. This is the best sports entity in all of Cleveland. I love this show. We all love this show, and you will too. Hi, everybody. G. Bush.
I'm G. Bush, the people's champ, and I'm going to tell you why Deshaun Watson is going to deliver $230 million worth of plays Monday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jason?
And I'm Jason Lloyd. I'm going to tell you why the Browns' defensive line is the key to the game on Monday night in Pittsburgh. Mikey.
My name's Mike. I go by McNuggets, and I think I'm the first McDonald's dollar menu item to ever make it on linear television in Cleveland. Let's get into it, guys.
Very well said.
Mike was very stiff at the beginning there. He
that was
looked a little
it.
nervous
I was so
right at the
nervous
beginning.
that morning.
You guys, we were only supposed to do that during football season.
Yeah.
Right.
But we got extended.
It was such a hit. We've extended it, and we do it every Friday from 12:30 to 1 on WKYC. Look at the growth of this
That's
little
right.
thing.
By the way, Deshaun Watson did not give us $230 million anything on that.
No,
that
he
game.
did not.
No.
That was the Pittsburgh Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, we don't like thinking about that game.
And then we came back the next day. We was about to cry.
Yep.
We was like, "Yo, Nick Chubb hurt." It was.
Yeah, the very next
was
day
tough.
was not good.
And shout out to Mickey, by the way, and everyone upstairs who allowed us to go from YouTube to
Yeah.
Channel 3. So appreciate
We
that.
appreciate the support.
The number one most significant moment in UCSS history. When this happened, we gained over 5,000 Twitter followers in a day.
Oh, I know.
We gained over 2,000 YouTube subscribers in a day. It is the only moment in the show's history that we have gone truly viral. The clip we're about to show you, or a portion of the clip we're about to show you, has been seen over 100 million times.
Crazy.
It birthed
Jiminy Christmas.
It birthed GNN, and it was G. Bush on
Yeah,
DeMar
GNN.
Hamlin.
I remember that.
I remember that. That was crazy. I'm kind of hot right now too. I'm kind of hot because we do this every freaking time something happened on this field. Everybody want to pivot and act like they. I done heard people talking about, just the mental health of the players, and yeah, you could die. They don't even know they could die out here. We sit here and talk about this stuff every single time. Schedule remakes, how we gonna make it up, what the league feels about it. I don't give a damn what the league feels about it. Keep it real. Why we don't talk about the stuff that matter? This young man, you want to know how what this you need to know about him? He's 24 years old, right? He got a contract for $160,000. That's his bonus, and he earns $825,000 this year. You say, G. Bush, why are you talking about this man's money? Because guess what? He's been in the league 2 years. That means he's not vested. That means if he never plays another down in his life, he don't get another check for the NFL. Let's be clear about this. You got to play 3 to 4 years before you even sniff a pension. So all this heartwarming and prayers and condolences don't do nothing for that boy's mom that got to go home, look at her son, and he might need extensive care for the rest of his life. And you know what the NFL will tell you? Well, we'll look out for the people like him. No, you won't. No, you won't.
That was powerful. That was a big moment. That was only about 2 minutes of what went on, I would say, for 10 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah, that was, I didn't know, that's, I guess, when you say things, you try to say things from your heart, you never know what it's going to do. And I'm just happy DeMar Hamlin, first of all, is back to normal playing football.
Absolutely.
Second of all, he did get his money. The NFL did right by him.
Yep, he got
and
it.
so a lot of people don't know. I've never had a conversation with DeMar Hamlin, never spoke to him or his people, but I don't need to do that. Like I'm just happy things worked out for him, and hopefully the NFL looks at certain things, and I think they've made some different changes to how they operate in order to remedy some of the things I talked about. So, you never know. We came doing this show, we try to have fun. You never know when you're going to be viral or do something like that. So it was a cool platform that it wasn't a viral moment for just me, it was for everybody on the show. And that moment was really big for the show because at the time, a lot of people don't know, it was up in the air when we started this thing. It was like we might get 6 months, we might get 12 months. We didn't know.
Yeah, no one knew.
So we would come to the work every single day and just give everything we had. And so hopefully that moment was just a big part of letting people know that our show was here and what kind of content we was putting out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that my takeaway from that was we all were scratching our head at how the overwhelmingly most popular sport and the most popular league in the United States did so little to protect players when this sport, more than any other, puts its players in the crosshairs more than any other sport.
Yeah.
You said it. There is a chance that when you walk on the football field in an NFL game, you could die.
Yeah.
And he almost did.
And he did. His heart stopped on the field. And the fact that the players' union, through the years, hasn't done more to strengthen their agreement with the owners is stunning, and hopefully that will all change moving forward.
Yeah.
I think we're moving that direction.
And remember, the league wanted them to keep playing that game, and that's what made them look particularly good.
They did.
And the players were just like, we're not playing. Were you crazy?
Yeah.
That was.
Well, the two coaches got together and said,
yeah,
I'll keep our players off if you keep your players off.
Right, they were. Yeah.
And thankfully, the right decision was made.
Yeah.
There were still people, though, weeks after that were arguing the league missed that. They made the wrong call, and that the game should have gone on once it was clear his heart was beating and he was out of jeopardy. But that was just a wild moment.
Yeah.
Big moment.
I got some super chats. I got some member shout-outs because we got 50 memberships gifted today, so I want to make sure I give those guys a shout-out. I want your guys' final thoughts on 500, and then we have one last clip to wrap it up. But shout-out to Rowdy Roddy, Q, Evan419, and Cody Clark for all gifting memberships. We appreciate you guys. We truly do. Mud says, fantastic show, guys. You guys have set the new standard in Cleveland sports media. Absolutely crushing it. Huge games, great discussions, fun McNuggets games. We appreciate you, Mud. CT says, go Browns, go. Go Joe Thomas. Rahul says, what's up, guys? Your guy again from India. A question to ponder. If given the choice, would you want a player who is great but says, give me the ball, or a great player who elevates the team with a pass-first mentality? Real quick, pass
Give me the
first
latter.
or
Give me the latter.
G, pass first, or give me the ball?
It depends on the sport.
For basketball, I'm going to go with the LeBron. I'll go with make the right play.
Charles T has 2. He says, happy 500th. I've been here since show number 1. See you guys at 1,000, and shout out to all the day ones in the chat. I just want to take 1 second, then I'll let you guys have the floor, then we'll end with the last clip. I have the best job in the world. I tell Earl, I tell Ann, I tell Steve that. We get to have fun every day, and we get to do it because of you guys. And from the bottom of my heart, I can't say it enough. I'll repeat it. I'll reiterate it. Thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys for your continued support, showing up each and every day, telling us when you like stuff, telling us when you don't like stuff. And because of you guys, we're allowed to continue to do what we do on a daily basis. So seriously, from everyone at UCSS, behind the scenes at the very least, thank you guys so much for being a part of this ride.
Well said, Mike.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it.
What you got?
We got.
And I love you guys too. 500 is a lot of
I love
times.
you, man.
Yeah, like we rocking and rolling, man. We pioneers. I always told them, if I die today, I'm a Hall of Famer. We die today, we Hall of Famers. We pioneers, man. It feels great.
I love that we have the ability. I mean, it's like we have this long form. You know, like I always, when I would listen to Howard Stern on the radio, I'm like, oh, he gets to do these long interviews and be goofy and silly. And I'm not saying we're Howard Stern, but because we don't take commercial breaks, that the commercials are just part of the show. We don't take these 8-minute breaks that TV does, or TV's not that long, but radio takes 6, 7, 8-minute breaks. It allows us to flow so much more. And like, you know, sometimes we'll go longer on a topic, and we've had
some of the greatest guests ever.
Some of the great guests, but we've had so many real moments on this show, like it's not shtick. We don't do shtick. We don't do any of that. Like, it's just, you can get to be real here because we get to curse and we get to, I don't know, you just kind of let loose here, and it's a lot of fun. We have great chemistry. Everybody gets along really well. We've argued. That's been fun. We've laughed. I guess we've cried. We've thrown up. We've done it all. And I've had so much fun, and I was scared when I quit 92.3 The Fan. I was scared because I had something lined up, and as I quit, it fell apart, and I was worried. And I'm so glad that I joined this show because it's a ball. It really is. Mike says it's the best job it is. Like, I have to say to Steve, I want to work more because they were giving us some time off in the summer, and I'm like, well, it doesn't really feel like working. We're very lucky. I don't feel like I'm working. It's like it's just something else I'm doing during the day. It doesn't feel like a job most of the time.
Yeah. My dad told me a long time ago the difference between work and a job is work is labor and job is love.
Yeah.
And he was 1,000% right. And he said, my job as a parent is to get my 5 kids pointed in the direction to where their careers, not labor, but love.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough to live that dream for 37 years.
Yeah.
I will say, as being a part of teams that worked and being a part of teams that didn't, both in TV and in sports, the elixir is always the chemistry.
Yeah.
So I always look at it as you're making a cake, and there are ingredients. And the flour, which holds everything together, is the chemistry on any team, whether it's the Guardians, the Browns. Good chemistry can overcome mediocre play. Mm-hmm. Bad chemistry can crush great play.
Yep.
And why does this work, both for all of us and for the viewers? Because the chemistry is there. And you usually know right away where you are on that. I felt it from the very first day we did our first rehearsal.
Yeah.
We come from all different backgrounds, very diverse backgrounds. But when we all came together, it was a positive energy. We've laughed together. I think we have cried together. There have been times where I wanted to cry real tears over the events and the results on our sports teams' fields.
Yeah.
But what makes this job fun every day, and this is the overwhelming reaction I get from the viewers when we run into you in public, they all say the same thing. It seems like you guys are really a family, like you guys really like each other. And that it seems like that because we do. And whatever we say in the moment and the heat of the show is dropped the second the cameras turn on.
It never gets personal. It's never carried over. It never carried over. Like, even some of the heated debates, the next day you come in, it's just like...
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Just like a family. They'll have disagreements. And you know what? At the end of the day, your family, we love each other. And a part of our family, a big part of our family, is you. Because Mike said it, without you, there is no us. There's no reason for us to gather together every single day and talk about sports for 2 hours if there's not a camera capturing our emotions and our thoughts.
Yeah.
And you guys are really the chemistry.
The lifeblood.
The chemistry and the viewers are the flower of our
I had people in the chat that came to my birthday party.
Fact.
Yeah.
Understand that. They're like at my house, like literally, like I just love. Y'all get in the chat. Something they're like, "G Bush, who you texting?" I'll be texting them. I'll be in the chat. I'll be talking to folks. So, like, they great. You know how to chat. I love to chat. The chat love me. You know what it is.
And I love that we're not afraid to tackle serious subjects.
Oh, we be going.
Like mental health, like race, and all these things
We've had
that
some deep
other shows are
discussions.
scared to talk about.
No, we're not.
They are scared to talk about these things, and we are not. We keep it real, and I don't know. And I feel like everybody that's on the panel now, like the three of us, and when Mikey's out here, when Earl's out here, Jason and Tyvis, all of us are really different, as you said before. You know, coming from different backgrounds.
Very
and
different.
everybody's like a real different. None of us are that, like, there's things
None
about
of us
us.
are really similar.
No,
Think
but there's
about
not, we're all very unique from each other,
That's right.
and we bring different perspectives. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. Every sport in town, there's at least one of us, if not more, that like really know that sport well, and I've got this covered, you've got that, and it's just, I love it. I have so much fun every day. Honestly, if you would have asked me 8 years ago, I would have said, no, I'm never going to work the rest of my life in Cleveland. And now, if you ask me, I'll say, I'll be sad if I don't work the rest of my life in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I want to do this for the rest of my career. I don't want to do anything else. I have
fun.
no interest.
It really is. It's a great time.
We're going to wrap with this as a little tease because I had a very productive conversation about setting up 2.0 of this. So we're going to kill your mics. We're going to fade to black. We want to say thank you. And just know 2.0 is coming. Steve? Where's Tyvis at? We got some elite athletes in the house, myself and Tyvis. If y'all don't know, Tyvis was the 2015 National Championship MVP at Ohio State. Give a round of applause to Tyvis. Let's go. What's up, Tyvis? So, here's the thing about Tyvis, is he still thinks he's an elite athlete. Like, if you ask Tyvis right now, honest to God, Tyvis, can you start in center field for the Guardians tomorrow? Could you beat Usain Bolt in a race? Hey. Here's the thing, it might be true. He might be able to do those things. But here's what I do know. For real? Oh, good shit. Happy cousin. Your cousin's better than you. But here's the thing. Here's what I do know about Tyvis. Here's the thing about Tyvis. That he may be able to do all those unbelievable athletic feats, but he can't outrun his own hairline. Like, when I get my own Netflix special, we're going to do a quick cut of Tyvis. Like, y'all see how high up that shit is? I love you, Tyvis. Hey, be quiet. Hold on. I just realized something. I met Jay in April. That's 10 months of knowing Jay Crawford, and that is the first time since I've met Jay that he's let anybody finish a complete thought without interrupting.
That was a fun night. That might have been that was our best off-site night, I thought.
That was amazing.
Bull prematurely.
I had a premature party cat.
You came prematurely.
It's not good. I should not have set that
Bull
up.
just exploded all over himself.
So we're going to do it on 3, 2, 1. Ready, G? 3, 2, 1. Happy 500.
There it is. Boom. goes to Dynamite.
It's like a Super Bowl in here.
It is. This is what the confetti shower
Oh, my
feels like.
God. What a mess.
We love you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.
This is crazy.